Happy Wednesday, guys. Always a weird pause there because I'm not sure if it ended and we're on, if we're on and it ended, or it ended and left us there. I don't know what's going on half the time, but brand new stuff. Yeah, I think everybody can see us. I hear the backstage is saying, hey, you're live. We can see you. So good on that. We've got a whole host of affiliates in the house tonight, and we're going to bring them out kind of one by one and go through the topic for the night, which is going to be all about feeding. Are we doing it right? Are we doing it wrong? It's always something that comes up on different shows. Everybody's got an opinion on how much you feed, how often. Do you give them this every week? Do you skip 2 weeks? Do you go every other week? Do you wait?
Feed them in their enclosure.
Yeah, do you feed them in the enclosure or take them out to I think pretty much all of us just do them right in their tubs with rack systems and stuff. But there's a lot of talk about that when you have a different terrarium set up and take them out of that to a feeding tub. You know, there's still a lot of that going on. So a lot of just oddball stuff out there about feeding. And if you do ball pythons, you know you're going to have those snakes that just aren't going to eat no matter what you do. I mean, ride it out. Just be patient. We have yet to have one starve to death in the hundreds we've handled and dealt with over the last 6 years. Not one has ever starved itself to death. Might go a really long time, might drop a few grams. But eventually, it decides, okay, food's probably a good idea, and it goes ahead and eat. Unless there's something drastically wrong with that animal, right? I mean, they certainly can get diseases or get sick or have something going on in their mouth. Maybe you've got one that's being kept too humid too long and it's got some mouth rot going on or something. Hopefully not, but you know, there can be obvious reasons a thing is not eaten. So eliminate those first, but then kind of rest easy knowing they're just going to do what they want to do at the end of the day anyway. But a lot of that we're going to hash over. So I'm going to do a quick fit check. Jason, you got on one of the affiliates tonight. You got John, Mission Morphs, yeah?
John from Mission Morphs, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about John, really. He's a great guy.
Oh, he wanted you to show off your merch.
Just your fit check.
I thought you wanted me to introduce him. I was going to talk
No.
We're
doing
He's like, yeah.
Jason reaches over to the Encyclopedia Britannica and pulls out the Mission Morph volume.
That was so good.
It was. I was like, whoa, wait a second. You can tell that all my... Right? All my blabbing, you could tell Jason's just done with all of that long ago. He doesn't hear none of it. If I put him on the spot, I like to catch him like that. Jamie, you got another affiliate on tonight.
Yep. I'm wearing Vision Quest.
Nice.
Yes.
That's a fantastic snake, by the way. One of the first DG puzzles around. I think, God, there wasn't a heck of a lot of them out there for sure, but awesome animal, man. And an awesome dude. And he'll be out here to tell you how awesome shortly, but I got a little bit of a throwback for, actually I can do this, can't I? But I got to click buttons and do it. Big Jeff, Bald Head Balls. Got him on. We got Frank up top. So we got Locked and Loaded. Frank, we got a couple of his animals that are growing up over here. Not quite ready to go, but Frank's an awesome dude, awesome project. So appreciate all those people.
That hat and that shirt for you.
I know it, right? I felt a little lopsided though, like it's a little heavy to the left. I keep kind of tilting this way, but it'll be okay. So yeah, brand new show, guys. Crucible. The whole point of this show is to highlight affiliates, people that are in the affiliate program, people that we work with week in and week out to try to get stuff going, ForgeCoin their direction, and ideas. Just a great community of people that we want to give them a little extra airtime and actually get their opinions on some different topics that go around the industry. So I thought this was a good idea. Mix it in there. Change up the No Remorph schedule that's hitting every week. Those are still around. They're still coming back. But No Remorph, Crucible. Then we go No Remorph again. And then we go outside the enclosure. We grab somebody completely.
Except this week. We had to rearrange it. So next week is going to be outside the enclosure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that may happen time to time according to who's available, right? But we're going to be mixing that in. So, and that one's going to feature a bunch of different stuff, right? So we're going to musicians, artists. This week we've got a
small
donut shop owner. Yeah, she just opened a little donut shop in our area and is doing amazing. She does an awesome job on her marketing. And by about 11:30 noon, she's completely sold out. Every rack in her place has a donut hiding up in the corner. So she's doing something right.
Yeah.
But we want to get different viewpoints from outside of our little community too. So anyway, thanks for coming out tonight, guys. We might as well get right to it. The topic's feeding. We talked about that, but who did we bring with us, right? So I don't know.
Are we,
Jamie, you want to?
are we saying hi to people or no?
I mean,
Hi,
we can,
Mitzi.
sure. Mitzi. Yeah, let's do that.
I
Well,
thought
we
that's
have
where
to
you
now.
were going, is gonna say hi to who's here.
Yeah, we can say hi to everybody out there. I'm cool with it. Mitzi, good to
that's
see you.
so
Appreciate you
funny.
swinging out. Dustin, DDM crew,
They
appreciate
just
you.
got a couple of nice pickups.
They did, yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. G-Paw, he's on the road. That's all I know about G-Paw today.
Yep.
That was the last update we got. I'm traveling, so hopefully traveling safe. Got a double dipper. Got Ashley. She's coming out here shortly to definitely give her opinion because she won't let us off the hook without it. Tara. Got Tara over at Voodoo. Appreciate you. She's been swinging out quite a bit lately too, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Nice. Duval.
Duval.
Always good to see him in here. Wish he could see us back. Oh, that's terrible. Sorry, Three Blind Mike, but I know you chuckle every time you hear those blind jokes. Got Tim out there again. Always. Every week he's out there. Jason, you got the next couple.
Fred,
so
hey, thanks
thirsty.
for coming out, Fred. We've been seeing a little more of Fred. He was kind of on a hiatus there for a little bit, but
Yeah.
thanks for coming out, Fred. Jason Opelt, thank you, sir. Always out here to watch us.
Absolutely. Big T. Travis in the house. Appreciate you, sir. Jason wasn't even going to say it. Brave Adventures.
I thought you were
BA
back. man.
smoothie. Oh no, I was still drinking my drink, but now you are. So we're gonna go off to it's Becky, right? Over at Onyx and Ivy. And great show with one of our guests tonight. So go catch that if you can. It's a good show. They talk about plants and they mix in the reptile stuff. Tony Long. India, I don't know what that last part is. I can't. These new name switches they've done, I can't keep up with those, man. Dwight the Pod Man. But thank you for coming out, Tony. Dwight, always appreciate you. James B. Easy, Pacific Northwest, Cookie, Maine.
Cookie Man.
Yeah, appreciate that for sure. Another double dipper. Got Vance. He's coming out, filling in. So Patrick was ill. Messaged us about an hour ago and said, man, I am not well. I'm not going to make it. So Vance was cool enough to say, I'll hop in there and sit in his spot. So appreciate you, Vance. Sorry, Patrick, heal up. Chris, 319, appreciate you swinging out. 15 minutes of lame character right there and a hell of a nice guy. Tommy, always good to see Tommy back in the house. That's awesome. Hopefully all is well on your end, sir. Oh, we got Alan. Probably Alan. I shouldn't just say that, but I'm going to assume. Dumbala, good to see
Tiffany.
you guys back. Could be Tiff, yeah, for sure. But good to see them in the house. Absolutely. Got Logan. Ledka, good to see you, sir. Appreciate it. And we got the other side of Tim there. Probably rolling her eyes right now at Tim. Boy, I like to give them a hard time.
All caught up.
They can't defend themselves, but all caught up. All right, we're going to go around the horn and introduce people because I'm going to take a lot of the slack off of me and push it over to Jason for this first person. And I'm just going to let him pick who he's bringing out first. Little intro about the person, what they like, what they don't, what they're going to tell us tonight, however he wants to do that. So
I don't
who's our
know
first
what they
victim here,
like and
Jason?
what they don't, man. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna make up stuff about what they like. Let's pick John. I already started into John from Mission Morph, so
Okay, all right.
What John likes most, where he spends most of his free time, is raising up hoggies for me. I'm obviously going to get my pick of whatever he has over there, so that's going to be awesome. We'll go ahead and bring. Oh, John, you're out here. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good, good.
Jason didn't know I was going to put him right below him there as he's going on all the hog nose he's going to steal from him. But John, thank you for coming out tonight, sir. How you doing?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Good. You got a sweat topic for us tonight? You got a sweat question where we're all just going to go Man, I
It's
don't
hot
even
in
know how to
here.
answer that.
Got one that everybody will have their opinion on, but there's no data to back it up.
Oh,
Oh, perfect. Okay, so kind of a theoretical thing, like what's your
Yeah,
best
those are the
guess as
best,
to what's
man.
going on? Okay. I dig that, man. Appreciate you coming out tonight, John. Jamie, who do you want to surprise and put on the roulette wheel here?
I'm gonna choose Ashley.
Okay. All right. I had this idea in my head, but go ahead.
Ashley works Ultramel, and I love Ultramel. And she works at a pet store, and I'm a little bit envious because that would be super fun. And she's our motivational coach. So let's welcome Ashley to the stage.
All right. Ashley, it is.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Ashley. What exactly are you trying to motivate? Tell
For
us
you
that
guys
story.
to get your tables for Tinley. Like, what are you looking for?
Right. Like, stop putting it off and stop with the
They're
excuses,
like,
right?
should we go to our local little show or Tinley? I don't know. Tinley. Tinley all day.
Right. It seems like the obvious answer. No, I agree. If Jamie
But
would just
I'll
stop
be there,
making
and we can all
excuses,
actually meet and hang out and have a good time.
That would be a good time.
right? It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome.
So,
So
I
I'm gonna-
like to hear you got those tables tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up, and then I'm going to find a way to push all the blame to Jamie on that
Oh,
one.
man.
Oh, I can
just-
just, I have an extra form. I can just fill your name out for you guys.
Oh, jeez. There's no pressure like all the pressure, apparently. So show up or don't, you have a
That's right.
table.
That's right.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming out tonight. I assume you got a hell of a question. I know you wouldn't come in without one. So I'm going to go to the next one. And this is a pair of people that we met right out of the gate when we first started into this. And they were one of the first couple people to reach out, first couple people we interacted with through Instagram. Kind of known them through this whole process, have always been awesome support, awesome place to fall back. They definitely put their animals above anything else they're doing, above their profit, above their, growth, whatever. That animal comes first. And if there's always an issue about quality versus quantity, they're going quality every time and making sure that animal has the right environment. So can't say enough about these two. Plus, he kind of carries me through the battlefield almost 2-3 times a week. Craig and TJ over at Rippin' Reptiles.
Ooh,
Thank you for
sports.
coming out tonight, guys.
Wasn't the case this week though, was it, John?
Well, so sometimes it doesn't go that well, Greg, and we know that. and we throw the monkey poo through the cage at each other pretty well. I think we've got that part down. We can take a joke and we can throw one at the same time, but one of my favorite parts of the week is just hanging out and doing that and getting everything else off my brain. So I appreciate you for that, Greg. And TJ lets us, so she's got to be somewhat cool, right?
She has her moments.
Well, that was a long pause. TJ, feel free. We won't
Just
file
whack 'em.
charges if you whack him one. It'll be all right. But thank you guys for coming out.
I caught
Appreciate
that, TJ.
Yeah, appreciate you. So we're back to Jason. Pressure's on him. We got two more spots to fill here.
So I guess I'll talk about the dead man, who was good enough, like John said earlier, to step in for our missing Patrick, which we really appreciate.
He's fired.
Let's see Vance from Blue Zombie Morphs. I'm gonna land the plane right here. I'm teaching John how to land the plane.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Land the plane. You did it well.
What's up, everyone?
Doing well, Vance. Always good to see you, man. I don't know how many people know this, but Vance was our very first guest on the very first No Remorph.
Yep, episode
And
1.
yeah, I think it actually went surprisingly well on all sides. The show didn't crash. We said a minimal amount of swear words in that first 15 minutes. That's critical. And then we just went off from there. So
Right?
I'm landing the plane. Jamie, you got the yoke.
Dan the man. Vision Quest. I really don't know a lot about his projects, but he makes awesome snakes because there's one on my shirt. And I know that his wife, Kristen, takes amazing pictures. She's a photographer. So
Yes.
let's welcome Dan to the stage.
Yes. And Dan,
How you doing,
I
everyone?
apologize.
Hey,
I
Dan.
know a lot about your projects. Jamie looks at geckos. I look at ball pythons. So
You're
Just to
already
let her
throwing
off
your
the
under
hook.
the bus. What's going on?
Right?
He's got that down.
That's my full-time job. But Dan, thank you, sir, for coming out tonight.
Thanks for
Focusing
having me.
on puzzle, DG, and clown, right?
I got a little bit of everything.
But you're kind of, a lot of what you're posting lately is in the dark stuff, right? The last one was crazy. I think it was like a confusion leopard,
Blackhead.
blackhead. Okay.
Yep.
Man, that thing was dark, but what a nice, clean pattern on it yet, you know? So
Yep.
definitely doing different stuff and on the front end of it. Like, you didn't wait to get that DG in the puzzle. You were one of the first ones out of the gate with that. So,
Yeah, thanks to Ozzy. I picked up the first pair from him.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice.
But we're able to hatch it, right? So,
Yeah, no, I picked up 2 double heads from Ozzy and lucky on 1 in 128 odds.
Wow.
geez, that's
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
I hit the OD Super Pastel Desert Ghost puzzle.
That's amazing.
Awesome, awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were you wearing a pink shirt at the time by any chance? Did it have like a bowl on it or anything like that going on? Like Sammy there at Bull Pythons? He seems to hit all of those
Yeah,
kinds
he's
of
a
things.
lucky guy,
Right? Between him and Val, man, I don't know.
right?
I know. Just sounds like one of those things Sammy would have happen, but
They got a horseshoe stuck somewhere.
right. So thank you guys again for all coming out and sitting down through this deal. We're just going to roll through each one of us with our own response to the question at hand. But I really don't know how to open it up with who's going to ask the first question. So who's the most rambunctious? And who? Okay.
Ashley.
Well, that's, all right. That answers that. We can just get right into that mode. The hand went up immediately.
Right. Oh, that's right. That's why, in case somebody else has my question, I've taken the first spot.
There you go.
Ah, okay. Save
I
some
guess-
sorting.
What I'd like to know from everybody here, who breeds their own rodents to feed their snakes?
I do
Okay.
I do African soft furs, but I buy regular rats.
Okay. So we have some people breeding here. So what I'd like to know is, for the people that are breeding their own rodents, do you supplement your rodents with anything, any type of treats, lettuce, veggies, anything like that? And do you find that your snakes are growing better and are wanting to eat more frequently? And do you feel like your colonies are also doing better? I am currently experimenting with this right now. I give half of my rodents, I have ASFs and rats, and I give half of the colonies supplements, like just the different veggies and things like that, and the other are just getting the Missouri. And I find that I'm getting better litters from both the African softers and the rats, the ones that are getting the supplemental food as well.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So great question. And I'm just going to pick people out of the other side over here and put you out there. So don't take this personally. I'm just going to make sure
Fine,
everybody has a
whatever.
chance.
It's how it is.
Vance? Yeah.
Let's
What's
go.
your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, definitely. I do the same thing. So with I breed my own rats, and I give them a little bit of everything. They get dog food, but they also get lettuce, carrots, beets. I do black oil, bird seed. I give them mealworms, so they get a mixture of everything. I was doing like once a week doing the vegetables and everything, but I've stepped that up to where I'm giving it to them a couple of days out of the week now. And then a couple of days out of the week, I give them mealworms so that they get some good high protein in them, but not too much to where they're getting on that fatty side and still kind of staying, they're big, but they're staying healthy and not too overweight for things.
Are you feeding a rodent pellet also, or do you do like dog food? So do you
So
feel like a Kalmbach or something like that?
So no, I don't do any of the. I've been wanting to try that, but I just do the dog food. And then when I go to I'll go to the feed store and I'll get the rat mixture of food there, where they got the corn and all the different mix to it. And then I'll add usually what I'll do is I'll take and add some more corn into that mixture. But yeah, as far as using any of the Missouri or anything, I haven't got a chance to try any of that yet. So
Just
Okay.
the straight pellet. Okay.
yeah,
So, and now to clarify, this is Norwegian purely, right? You
correct.
don't
This is straight Norwegian, not ASF, because I'm in California. So
Okay, gotcha. Just so we know where your base was and like what
Absolutely.
animal is taking this in. Okay,
right.
makes sense. All right, John, you're on the board. I don't know on the rat side how far you guys are into that, or if you're purely buying, or
Well, first off, shout out D's Not Words.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely,
Go buy your
for
shirt.
sure.
But we're still not ready to do our own yet. We're still having to purchase.
Okay, so buying from your supplier. Have you had any conversations about that from them? Is it a local person, or are you buying bulk from a national supplier? How does that work for you?
No, it's a large outfit here between the location here by our house and then another location they have a couple hours from here. They supply a bunch of people like Parpart and some others. And I think she said they go through about 20,000 rats a month, not counting mice, ASF, or anything else.
Oh wow.
Wow. Okay, so big outfit.
But as far as what they're feeding, we only talked about it one time a long time ago, and it was like Missouri or Kalmbach, one or the other, with some other additives.
Okay, gotcha. So supplementing on top of the standard pellet, kind of a standard situation there.
Yeah, if I remember right, I believe that's what she said.
Are you
Okay.
feeding African soffers or rats, or what are you feeding your snakes?
Everything starts off on hoppers like everybody else, and then they stay all Norwegian, except for the picky ones. They get the ASF. And what we try to do is, after they lay and you bathe them and change the tub and all that, the first offering will be a rat to see if we can convert them.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nice.
It's a great time to start that and give it a try, right?
We got about 8 of them that's a no-go. They're still ASF.
Okay. Well, and you'll find that, they'll swap. We swap. God, Jamie and I right in the same bucket when we're thawing, and we don't really pick which is which. We go more by the size of the prey per animal. You know what I mean? So one might
Right.
get a Norwegian, one might get an ASF, and we just don't pre-calculate that at all, and they all seem to take. Now, that could have something to do with the scent being in there too, right? So, but
That helps.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Dan. Do you do your own rodents? Do you buy like John does? What's the story on your side?
I breed my own African soft furs,
Okay.
but I buy regular Norwegians every week, just for the ones that I sell. I usually make sure they're on Norwegians before I sell them. As far as starting off the babies, I start on African soft fur hoppers. I usually do about 6 meals, and then I switch them over to regular rat pups.
Okay. Gotcha.
Nice.
So when
As
you're
far
doing
as
your
feeding the
ASF,
African soft furs, I do Missouri rat mouse, which is a little higher protein than the regular Missouri. I think it's like 23%. And then I do kitten food. Kitten food is about 40% protein, which the African soft furs do much better on.
Oh.
I do kitten food as like a bonus, and then they also get black oil sunflower seeds and sweet potato and a couple other vegetables. I'll supplement during the week.
Nice.
I'd heard
Okay.
I'd heard that sweet potato is supposed to be really good for them too. Yeah.
They really like it.
oh, I bet. Just eat the heck out of that. I bet for the little weans, that's probably really good. As they're starting out little, it probably fattens them up fast, getting that
Yeah.
sweet potato mix in there.
Yeah, they do really well on it. I have I think it's 10, about 14 colonies of ASFs.
Okay. That's still pretty good size. That's going to produce a lot for you. What do you take out? Well, off the topic of the main question, but what do you take out of there just out of curiosity weekly, as far as weans that you pull?
Well, I feed the smaller ones to the babies because I had 3 clutches already this year hatched, so I'm feeding a lot of babies. They usually get about 6 meals before I convert them to regular rats. And if I'm keeping them, if they're holdbacks, I go back and forth. I give them ASF 1 week, regular rat the next week. I switch them back and forth.
Oh, I meant on your ASF numbers, like how many weans a week are you pulling from moms to get to the
Okay,
wean
gotcha.
side?
I would say I get about a couple hundred. There's about a couple hundred a week.
Okay,
Nice.
nice. So they're producing well. Okay,
Yeah,
very cool.
I have I can't remember the size, but they're like I think they're Freedom Breeder 35s maybe. They're pretty wide, maybe like 18 inches by 18 inches probably squared. And I do like a 2.5 or 2.6 in those. And then in the FB10s, I do a 1.3.
Okay, good info on the ASF side for sure. Appreciate that, Dan.
Sure.
All right. We got our Rippin' Reptiles crew. I know they do their own rodents, and I know they both love it. But
No,
but
that
what is the supplement story?
one's all me. But actually, she hacked my question there. But still, it's a good subject to talk about. So a couple
Damn
years
it,
ago, when we first started, we got a few rounds of really crappy rats. We ended up naming them the crack rats because they were just batshit
Vicious.
and mean, and like we would open a drawer or the bucket and they would just start screaming or running circles, or I had one eat his own tail because I picked him up. Like they were just bad.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
that pulled the geek in me to do a lot of research and stuff, and I ended up over in, I think it was the University of Oxford's files, where they actually have done studies on the nutrition and the effect that it has on rats. And for years doing horses and livestock, what you put in is what you get out. It's quality in, quality out, and we've looked at that the same way with our own animals. So we played with the crack rats. Instead of feeding them off, I kept them and kept them apart from the rest of our litters. And basically, it took us 3 generations. So the Oxford basically concluded that poor nutrition and dehydration can permanently damage the genetics of, which of course brain, but then obviously a long-term effect would be damaging the actual genetics of rodents.
Sure.
So that those effects can be passed on. And they didn't lie, because it took us 3 generations, and I had to add in 3 different males to get them to where they were even remotely not crackheads from birth.
Wow.
And
That's crazy.
Yeah.
so, but what we do is, I generally, thanks to Chewy, because we don't have feed stores around here, we have our feed delivered by Chewy. So I will rotate whatever's on sale that week. Like if they have the buy 3, get 1, or the, whatever one is there. I have recently started adding in the Kraus. I do like that. It's got a good, sorry, to die.
He pulled the Homer Simpson and just disappeared into the background.
All right.
Got
That's
a lot
exactly
of,
what I was thinking too.
yeah, right. I thought he had fallen on the dog for a minute there, honestly. But I like the Kraus. It's got a lot of, it's got like fresh yucca in it. It's got a lot of natural ingredients that are compressed into it. You can actually smell the difference when you open the bag. And it's actually a little bit cheaper than the others. We have traditionally stuck with Comeback just because it's been such a dependable feed. I'm not a diehard Missouri feed like a lot of people, but I've always, especially since the crack rat, and integrated fresh food and supplements in. We do the Blackwell sunflower seeds. Our mice colonies actually don't get as much feeder block as they do seed and fruit and veggie. I feel like they waste more feeder block, and they're less healthy when they eat just feeder block. So they actually survive more on, like we get the fruit and nut without the raisins, like you would feed a bird, but it's without raisins, because raisin does liver damage to rodents, along with onions and grapes, obviously. But that's what they feed on. Only about once or twice a week do we throw a handful of the feeder block in with the mice themselves. And they live longer, they stay fatter, and they are more active and less mean.
Okay.
I don't like mice. I like the rats. The rats are cool. I don't like the mice, but
Just
we work
just on
in, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going
No,
to say,
you're
just on the curiosity side, because you talked about these crack rats, like in the genetics, what did you see improve first? Like, where did you see it really change first? Like, what trait was the one that was obviously influenced right away?
they quit eating each other, first of all.
Cannibalism? Okay.
Like,
Well, that makes
usually they
sense.
resort to eating each other if they're hungry or there's something wrong. They would just get mad and eat each other. Like,
Yep.
it was bad. They would also, the screaming was the worst thing. Like, I can remember opening the drawer and watching an entire litter run to the back and scream like terrified kittens would. Most times you
Huh.
open the drawer, and unless you, like, they get caught or hurt or something, they don't make noise. They would literally scream like they were being squashed just from you opening the tub.
Wow. Okay.
I've had them, like I said, there for the longest time, especially the first 2 generations, I couldn't go at them unless I had a heavy leather glove on. I ended up with, I have scars all over the back of my hand just from that little experiment alone.
Yeah, they don't mess
But
around. I mean,
it
they'll
was,
take a hunk. you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So now,
no,
do you
I
sell
almost lost a
rodents?
finger to a mom.
Do you sell your rodents
What'd you
at
say?
all? Do you sell them?
I don't sell them. We haven't even gotten to the point where we're supporting our own yet.
If you do
I've
get to
had
that point,
twice
will
now.
we
I've
like
had,
crack rat rodents? Like, can it be that name of it?
that might be a good selling point there. Somewhere between the crack
might be
rats
the
and
wrong
the food
clientele.
babies, I might actually have a marketing.
If you're a
program going there,
crackhead and need a pet, here you go.
That could be hilarious.
Gotcha, baby, and a crack rat. Here you go.
But it would stop and get people's attention.
Right.
Right? We're not feeding all of our own yet, because I have lost full colonies twice now due to different things. So we're hoping once the rodent shed gets set up this summer when we're in the new place, it will meet that point where we can actually sell and make profit on it instead of not even breaking even.
Right.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, but great points. I mean, that obviously nutrition matters and what you're feeding them matters. So
Yeah.
if you've seen it in your own example, we're going to put Ashley back up there because this was her thing. Ashley, did you have anything specific for anybody that went through that round? Like, okay, I heard your answer, but I got this for you because you're the question asker and we're going to let you close it out.
Have you noticed, for those that are supplementing, do you notice the improvement in your snakes, even just in the shine that you see in their scales? Because I know I have, and I feel like the snakes that are getting those rodents just look healthier.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would definitely have to agree that they do look stunning with the supplementing, having everything in there, all the nutrients and different stuff that they need. I would definitely say that they do look really good. That does make a big difference in it for sure.
Nice.
Okay.
The other thing too that I forgot to add, I'll probably think of maybe a few things later, but like another thing that I'd like to give them is the peanuts in the shell. So like when I go to the feed store and you could get a big bag too if you want, but like I'll buy it by the pound. So I'll get like 5 pounds, 8 pounds of peanuts. And then a couple of days out of the week, I'll throw that in there and they go crazy for those peanuts, man. They'll go over there. And I think it helps with their teeth too, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, helps kind of dole those out and not be so sharp and growing as much, but they also get that protein and something that they really like. So it's kind of like a little bit of an exercise for them too.
Yeah.
And a really healthy fat as opposed to some of the other crude fats they might be getting from this other source,
Absolutely.
And that peanut fat is actually a good fat for them health-wise. So, yeah, that's a great point. Great point.
Have you noticed your litters are bigger too?
Yeah, I would say I'm getting bigger litters out of that. I don't know if I could speak too much because I've had some issues. So when I first started out, that was like a big issue that I had was getting them bred. Like they would breed, that wasn't the issue, but for them not to eat the babies was the issue. And so what I learned was protein. You got to make sure they have plenty of that. But I would say that my litters are looking bigger. I had kind of an incident where I didn't cull out basically some of the rats that were getting older and get new fresh ones in. So I'm working with that right now. But yeah, the litters, they're pretty strong. They're not as strong as I would like, but I'm running like I'm pulling about 10, 12 babies per litter. So hopefully I can get that number up a little bit more to around the 15, 18 side. But
Yeah. Awesome.
Still a good litter on the Norwegian side. That's a nice litter. I mean,
absolutely. It gets scary when you're like at 5 or 6, you know, it's kind of like, all right, you're not really producing that much. So.
Yeah, that's tailing off at that point.
Yeah.
I think with supplementing, I get at least those ones give me about 5 more babies per litter. I noticed the ones that I've been supplementing with.
Nice.
So,
Nice. So great question, great answers, and a huge mix of things, right? So you get all the way from John down there still buying his, which doesn't really lend to that question, but it does speak to what that person's doing in bulk. So you get that view of it, right? All the way up through genetic issues by not being fed right. So totally different line of thought than I would have thought on the feeding topic, but why not, when we're talking feeding, talk about what you are feeding? So perfect, man. That's an awesome question. Do we got another volunteer? Right? Yeah. You were so quick to put your hand up, I don't even know where to go for the next person here. Does anyone want to go next? Do you have a question that you want to throw out there for everybody? And that's anybody. Just throw a hand up or go, I'll go. Whatever. We're not gonna
I'll go, John.
Damn it. All right. We got that was a tie. Dan, you're up.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Wrong Dan.
We'll get,
Wrong Dan.
So,
this is an instant.
how many meals do you guys go when you have babies before you assist a baby snake? How many times, or how many weeks, however you want to look at it, before you actually go and assist?
Oh, that's a good one.
That depends.
So assist feed, like when do you step in, right? Like when you said,
Correct.
Okay, we have to do something here. Okay, great question. We'll start with our side this time, I guess, and let Jason answer that because all three of us have had to do it.
I'm busy.
Kind of busy right now.
So that's changed over time. Originally, I guess panic mode sets in pretty quick, and you're going, man, these things need to eat. So basically, if they had skipped 2 feedings and just weren't interested at all, we're looking at probably starting to assist feed. Now, honestly, I let them go quite a bit longer than that, probably a solid month, even up to 6 weeks before I do that. And I've had with that, what I've found is that a lot of times they will eat, or what will happen is I'll start to assist feed, so I'll pick up one of the snakes. I've talked about this happening before on a couple shows, but holding the baby and getting ready to do the assist feed, and I'll always kind of get the pinky up there first, and a lot of times they'll take it at that point, and then you can just be done with it. So yeah, I would say probably close to that 6-week period.
Yeah. And we're purely talking about hatchlings here, guys. We're not talking about a snake that's, getting sickly or losing a ton of weight. Not anything on the adult side, but hatchlings out of the egg, I assume, was the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I assumed too. Hopefully that was it.
Hopefully that's what Dan meant. I
hey
think
man,
so,
they go 6 weeks. We're cramming food in them, but
right? No. Yeah, not on that side.
The baby's got to eat for sure, and yeah, I feel pretty comfortable about that time frame.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we kind of obviously talk about it, and we do some very similar. So, yeah. Big John.
I want to preface this whole evening with I myself am not an expert, so if there's anything you disagree with,
hold on, let me just close out my email account.
That's funny.
For us, it's basically a month before we partially intervene because we'll let them shed, wait 1 week, and then offer live hoppers 3 feedings in a row. The 4th one, we will switch to a frozen thawed or just fresh kill it and offer it that way for 2 more feedings. And then the 6th feeding is when we'll actually take over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about the same. Sounds like a similar time frame, yeah?
Yeah.
The only caveat to that is like that one I showed y'all before that was born at 32 grams.
Yeah.
We didn't wait that long on that one.
No, and
I was gonna
that's
say,
definitely a
those-
factor. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those little special cases where they come out of the egg and they already look like they didn't get a ton of yolk. You know, there's some
Right.
body conditions that just don't look right from the start, and you're like, this one probably needs a little leg up earlier than a standard situation, right? You know.
Yeah, and on top of that, if we're intervening, we try to downsize the meal just a hair, just to get something in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good point.
Absolutely. Okay. Good point. I'm just waiting for Ashley to go, no, this is not how you do it. Eventually that's going to happen tonight, but no. She won't do that. But she's chuckling. Ashley, you
No,
are up.
that's not how you do it. You're all wrong. I pretty much agree. With a normal sized hatchling, about 6 weeks. But I'm also just really looking at their body score. Are they losing weight? They did not seem as active. I had one hatchling that was 18 grams. So yeah, I started her a lot earlier. It really comes down based to the animal. I saw when Island ground boas, it was about, I want to say maybe close to 2 months when I started assist feeding them, but that's only because they have a slower metabolism. You want to try to get them really hungry. I'm currently still syringe feeding them, and I'm going to have to now, I'm going to probably do a pinky head next, but I've been doing ground up frogs and quail and syringe feeding the Solomon Island ground boas. But yeah, so I waited about 2 months to start doing that with them. And then I do this every 10 days with them. So it depends on your species as well.
Absolutely great point, because this isn't just ball pythons. I mean, I think in this group we kind of all assume that. It's what you know, all of us work with. A lot of you guys have other things to the side. They're a special case, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess is the process, I should ask that while we're on this assist feed, is that kind of the same process regardless of species, or is there a special case scenario where you have to treat it different?
I use a tiny little syringe, and I've got to grind the stuff up like so fine. Because the Solomon Island ground boas, I mean, they could curl up on like top of a quarter and be smaller than the quarter. They're so tiny. Oh my
goodness.
So yeah, I have to use a tiny little syringe. But I'm hoping. I tried to offer live pinkies last night. No one took it. So yeah, the next step is getting the heads of the pinkies, and I'm gonna assist feed that because I'd really like them to get over to that, and I really don't want to do the ground up frog and quail forever.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But
for the smaller
if
stuff,
ever in
cut
doubt,
the thighs off the baby mice. That works too. We did that with thorns.
And you grind them with a mortar and pestle.
No, I just fed them like a little chicken.
I bought the links from Reptile because I needed the frog or quail, and I wasn't going to pay to have a bunch of lizards because naturally Solomon Island ground boas eat lizards and frogs. So yeah, I got that, and then since they wouldn't take the casing, I was scenting it with the frog juice and all that. But so I took that out, and then I had to really grind up more because our bone pieces and thicker pieces in those links. But so thankfully we do have Reptile links where I could go for something like that where I don't have to like physically grind up the whole frog and lizard. And like that wouldn't be as much fun.
Have you tried baby anoles? Probably don't have access. Oh, okay.
Yes. And I've thought about actually starting a colony of mourning geckos because I do want to breed more of the ground boas. And being that they're mourning geckos, they will just produce on their own, and there'll be lots of babies really quick. And then I could just throw those in with them and pray.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Well, good point. I mean, talking about other species, another couple with other species and have run into this, I'm sure. Craig, TJ, assist feeding situation. When is this going to happen for you guys?
It depends on the snake. We take their body structure into consideration a lot, and we've had to learn the hard way to do that because there were nights where TJ would be down there trying to, crying over top of a baby, trying to, assist feed a baby, and just couldn't get it to take. So we have to sit back and take a long, hard look at them. As a rule of thumb, we don't really get overly concerned until after a month, unless it's a particularly small baby, then we've got to be a little more concerned with that. Um, but I think we're pretty much on the mark with the 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, we've gotten with the balls. We had a go there where we had some smaller eggs, and we always went with the rule of, all right, they've shed, now pull them, put them in their own drawer, and try to feed them. We actually found out that if we left them together, at least in a group of 2 or 3, and left them in the incubator for about a week after they shed, that we had better luck getting them to eat. So what we've
Gotcha.
started doing is giving them their first meal about 7 to 10 days after they shed, and before we remove them from the incubator. So we get that first meal into them, and then let them go the 2 to 3 days to get it started digesting, and then they get bumped apart and moved into their own drawer. They seem to thrive a lot better there. And I think that our first couple of years of breeding tested every, and I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want to say every, but it tested just about any scenario that could come up, because we had the tiny babies. We had one that was like 29 grams compared to all of its clutch mates that were 70 some grams, and that one got fed as soon as I could possibly get it to wave food in front of it, because it probably got half an ml yolk.
So what are your thoughts on the incubator, leaving them in the incubator helping? Do you think it is because of the temperature, the constant higher temperature, or do you think it's from them being together, or both, or what?
I think it's both, because the ones that stay together do eat better. And, we've had a couple that, because they had something wrong, they had a twisted cord or something, that they ended up by themselves early on, and they don't tend to eat better.
That is a fine line, though, because there is a point where keeping them in the incubator for too long becomes immediately detrimental.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say that metabolism stays so high that it does damage rather than good at some point.
Well, and at a certain point, once they're out of that first shed, they start needing the temperature gradients, and they need to learn how to do that. And if they don't learn how to do that, then it affects their immune system.
Sure.
So yes, I mean, that's why we've started going for, unless there's a reason, like they're ill or they need the heat. Heat helps a reptile heal, whereas when they're sick, they go for the cold. So if we need to leave them in the incubator for a certain reason, we will. But we've started removing them after the first feed is down and digested. And they seem to do great. We tested that exact theory on the clutch that we just started selling, and they did great. Every one of them ate like a champ. So that's kind of where we're at. But we tend to wait. If they won't eat, we tend to wait, depending on their body size and structure and their health, up to a month, sometimes 6 weeks if they're a good fat baby.
Gotcha. Okay. I think we're all kind of landing in that 4 to 6 weeks, and it just really goes by the animal, right? So it seems to be kind of a consensus, but I'm sure Vance is going to ruin that.
No, actually, to be honest with you, I'm really not going to ruin it, man.
Okay.
I would say the same. Somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks is where I'm at. And that really goes back, piggybacking off you guys, that it really does. I look at the snake, too, because I've had some that they were fine for that 4 or 5 weeks not eating, but then I've had that one that was a lot smaller weight, didn't weigh as much, and that thing was losing quite a bit of weight. And so at that point, it was like 2 weeks after when I had to sit there and get that one assist fed. And I seen a comment earlier that Duval had asked about the dangling when doing assist feeding. Yes, I have tried that, because I had one clutch that did very well with eating. I had no problems, but with another clutch, they were doing not as well. So what I had to end up doing was, when I assist fed, this one snake just gave me issues. She would not take that rat every time I would assist feed. She would just spit it back out. So what I ended up doing was, when I finally got it down in there far enough and got her to actually hold on to it, I grabbed her by the back of the tail, by the back of the tail, and hold her up, and then just hold her up and let her, as she's eating, she'll sit there and just kind of gravity's doing its thing, right? She's gonna have to sit there and work for it. So that kind of helped to get them trained a little bit. And I noticed after that it did really help out a lot. It got them into eating and everything. So
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like putting that work in front of them made them kind of get used to that process.
Correct.
Like, hey, this was going to be work to get my food. Yeah, I got you.
Right. Like, here, you're on the treadmill. Here's a donut. You're going to get this thing, right? You're hoping it's going to work out. So
I know Jamie from Graceful Pythons has had success doing that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like Jay said, we've had several snakes that right in the middle of things, they'll be a couple months old and they just decide to kind of shut off. And Jamie and I had this just a couple weeks ago. I picked the snake up out of its tub, held on to it, and put the rat in front of it, and it ate it. Wouldn't eat it in the tub, but it was fine if I was holding on to it. Just eat it, fine, you know. Like,
Little baby.
okay, yeah,
One
you
thing
little
I've
baby.
said,
So yeah, there's odd things for sure, but let's get the question master back in the seat. Dan, you asked the question, you didn't get to answer, so your train of thought on this and anything you want to put to anyone else that answered?
Yeah, pretty similar. I wait till about 4 tries or 4 weeks, whatever it comes out to, before I'll assist. And I found that once I pull the babies out of the incubator and let them shed, I usually wait almost 5 to 7 days before I offer the meal, and it seems to work better than rushing it right away and giving them a hopper. So I wait about 5 to 7 days after the first shed, and I'll throw a hopper in there. And like I said, I'll wait about up to 4 weeks or 4 attempts before I assist. And usually it's the really small ones that I have an issue with. Although I had an 18-gram hatch out at the end of last year, and it ate from the get-go.
Nice.
Really? Man,
Yeah.
that is a
Nice,
tiny
okay.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
it's
tiny.
still pretty small, but for starting at 18, I think it's around 100 and something grams now.
Nice.
Okay,
That was a
so
ball.
made good ground.
Yeah, it was a Ultramel.
Wow.
Huh.
Kudos.
That is tiny,
Yeah.
tiny. Well,
Yeah, I was
congrats
using
on it.
ASF pinkies for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, I'm shocked they could even get that down. You know, that's
Yeah,
really
I was like,
small.
took it like a champ. I couldn't believe it because usually that's small. I had a one that was 27 grams a couple years ago, and it took me about 4 months, I think, before it actually took a meal on itself. I had to assist it.
That one's a fighter, man. You watch, that snake will be 5,000 grams, man.
Oh, it did really well, and I wound up selling it. It was a beast after it learned how to do it.
Yeah.
it's because it was Ultramel.
Of course.
Because it was Ultramel.
See, all of our
why.
Ultramels eat like they're like monsters. They are.
Ridiculous.
They're huge, and they'll eat your hand if you give them the chance from the day they're born.
Yeah,
Our Ultramel is opposite here.
the exact opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
picky,
don't know
picky,
why,
picky.
but she is the most picky snake we have. Well, not the most, but right up there. I don't know why, but each one's a little different, right?
Yeah.
So
I always find
fantastic
when I get
question,
those picky females that I end up either switching their bin completely, switching their bedding. I'll put them into a smaller, give them a hide, whatever. Normally, one of those things would end up working. So you know, just ideas to throw around because I've been through that many times and I switch it around.
Nice.
That's right. That's right. You tell them, Zach.
I don't know how the heck this thing keeps jamming me in the middle, but I do not want to be there. So we're shifting this around.
You don't want to be in the middle?
I do not like being in the center of that. No, not at all.
How do you like
But-
it, Dan?
Right? So take that, Dan. But- all right, we've kind of had some pretty good luck at who wanted to go next, and I think it was kind of a toss-up tie, but Vance, we're going to just default to you because it was you and Dan on the
Sounds
chopping block for the next question.
Yeah.
What do you want to pose?
So my question for you guys is, if you have a rat, really you bought or bred it, do you feed, if it's got lumps on it, would you feed that to your snake?
Depends on where and what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a problem that I had. So anytime I've ever had like lumps on a rat or anything, I'm real picky about that. I will not feed, just anything to my snakes. So I've always steered away from lumps and everything, not knowing if it's a tumor or whatnot. Well, I had went about a month ago and I bought some rats, some to feed to the snakes, and then some to get into my some new bloodline in for breeding. Well, there was this one that I had seen. It looked like a lion. It had like this hair that came down and everything, you know. And I was like, "Oh, this thing's pretty
Wow.
cool." Looking. Like, I don't know if it's a tumor or if this is new, some new type of rat that came out. You know, they got the lion rats now or whatever. You know. So I'm like, man, this thing's pretty neat. So I kept
Triceratops rat.
yeah. So I kept the rat, and I was debating. I was like, man, I really don't want to feed this to the snake, and I'm back and forth if it's something different or what it is. And so I almost fed it off, and I go, no, I'm not, you know, because again, I don't like to just feed anything to my snakes. So she ended up pregnant because that was in one of my bins that I had for, you know, to keep back for them to get pregnant. Well, she ended up. And this one is actually, I do tubs, but the one enclosure I got is an actual glass aquarium, and that I keep these one set of rats in. Well, I'm sitting there, and so I have to have a water bowl in that one. Well, I went to go fill it up with the water, and she runs over there, and she's just waiting for me to fill the water, and I'm like pouring it, waiting for her to get out of the way. Well, she never moves out of the way, so I'm pouring that water into the bowl, and it's going on her, and she has that big lion-looking thing. Well, it ends up popping, and so there's like a flap of skin that pops over, and there was like this. I guess there was like an abscess. I don't know. What I'm thinking is like maybe another rat had bitten her and it got infected, and so that was something that I thought was kind of interesting, but. To where, like I said, I'm real cautious of what I feed the snakes, you know. But in this case, where you could have thought maybe it was a tumor or something, it wasn't. So I'd hate to sit there and feed your snakes something like that, and for something to happen, you know what I mean, where you have that abscess that pops or something like that. I mean, that's pretty sick. So I was just curious on everybody what they did, you know, if they kind of shy away from that. But that was also something interesting to tell you guys that maybe it's like, okay, hey, yeah, that's more of a reason to stay away from feeding your snakes just any thing that has a lump or anything like that in it. So
yeah, 100%. And I'll pop in there because I haven't answered for the forge yet, but I will say number one step there, Vance, get a flamethrower and,
right,
get rid of that scenario like right out of the gate. But
absolutely. And that was the thing, John. I'm going to have to go in there and clean that whole thing, sanitize it,
right.
Man. Because she was in there shaking too.
Yeah, truly, you really don't know, right? Because you don't know the cause, you don't know what the issue is. So I guess on that note, anything that really looked off to me, I'm just going to kind of, again, I think this is going to matter if you're getting your rat through a supplier or you're raising your own. I mean, I think raising your own, you're going to be a little more aware of what you're working with, why they might have a certain issue. There's things where we know a rat, like you said, Vance, got bit by another one, and it's just a little festered spot. I have no issue with that. Do you know what I mean? But it's coming from a clean colony that we can see the overall health of the colony and know that there is a major issue there.
Right.
I'm thinking I would be far more cautious from a supplier than I would from my own. I guess just as a rule of thumb. But yeah, man, you really just got to evaluate that. We haven't had a situation where anything looked really that out of hand. We've gotten some bad rats from suppliers that we just skipped on. You know, you go to thaw and you pull that bag apart or whatever that little group is that you're working with for the night, and you go, ooh, yeah, this one I'm not going to feed just because it looked a little off. Maybe it was, patchy, or the hair wasn't, consistent, whatever. I still don't want to do that when it's $2 versus grab the next one in line that looks nice. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's just risk reward there. Like, skip it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because I'm the same way with the rats. When I go and look, and I've seen some that were missing hair and everything, and that's a turn off right there. Like, no, I don't know what's going on. They could just be missing hair for whatever reason, right? Might not be a big deal, but then it might. So why take that chance?
Problem is you don't know, right? It's just
exactly.
your mind.
So exactly, why take that chance into anything? And that's why I've always shied. Like, even if I have a rat that's sitting there dying, I know it's probably old. I've had it for a year and a half, and it's been putting out litters, but I still, at that point, don't even go and feed it to my snakes. If it's something that, and that's what's unfortunate, is because I have my colonies and everything is good and healthy, but then I go in to buy the pet shop and I get these cellar rats, and then this one's kind of not what I was expecting, and so now you're having to sit here and deal with all this. You don't know who's breeding and what and how and what they're feeding, so it's always best to go to the best that you can and everything like that. But,
absolutely, for sure. So somebody from the purchasing strictly side, John, what's your thoughts? I mean, I'm sure you've run into some odd stuff in the supply, right? Like you've had to get that oddball rat where you just went, I don't know about this thing.
No, they go away. They do not go to the snakes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your example, or what's your cutoff point? Because you are going to get some things that get damaged too, right? Like if they're processing a lot, something might get a ding in the head from just moving through a number of rats. What is it you're specifically looking for?
I mean, if it looks like a typical scar or something from fighting or whatever it may be, and it's nothing, then I'm okay with that. But like a tumor or something, I don't know what it is. I mean, my sister is a vet. I could always freeze one off or euthanize it or whatever and take it to her and see if there's any science behind it. But sure. I'm just not going to take the chance because I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of back to that $2 is $2, and I'd rather throw a good $2 in there, or whatever you're paying on your rat, right?
Right.
Nick, good to see you, sir. All right, I think that's going to be kind of a general consensus, but Ashley is never the general consensus. So, what do you got? Ashley?
Every bunch.
I have a little bit of a different view on this,
Right.
if you can imagine. I mean, so working at a pet shop where you do see those things. I mean, they breed thousands upon thousands of rodents, mice, ASFs, and rats. They have fed animals that have some of these different lumps and things going on, and those animals, some of them are 20 plus years old. These animals have zero issues. They lay, they breed, they do everything. Because I've asked about that myself, and it's not like it's it's a very often thing, like every week they're getting these, but if it has a lump or something like that, it's still going, and these snakes have been perfectly fine, and that's been boas, ball pythons, milk snake, whatever. They've been totally fine. And you think about African soft fur adults, for instance. Almost all African soft fur adults, once they get to a certain age, start getting all these different bumps all over them. It's just something with the African soft furs. So do I have an issue feeding it if it's got some lumps? No, I really don't. If it's like grotesquely looking bad, which I've never had that issue, I would skip it. I wouldn't do it. But a few lumps of bumps don't really bother me, just because I've seen that it has, snake.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and that's something that kind of Vance talked about too. Is he started off with, well, it's got cancer lumps, and then it went to it's an abscess, and to me that's totally different because all rats get cancer. That's like a proven thing.
Right.
If they live long enough, they're going to get a lump. But yeah, if you got like an open wound, man, that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Jason. Like kind of like you were saying, I have one in there that actually has, which I believe is just a tumor, right here on the lip.
Yeah,
and that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like an abscess or nothing, pus pocket, anything like that. It's just one of those things, like you said. It's just that, and she's probably, I know she's a good year old roughly. So I mean, it's just that time, right? That's going to happen and everything. So I'm pretty sure 100%. That's the only problem. So at that point, that doesn't really bother you guys, right? If it was like a tumor lump.
Yeah, I don't think there's risk there.
Yeah.
I think this couple's got something to say on it, and they're definitely going to go, dude, if it's lumpy, that ain't going in there. I could be wrong.
We're a little more catchy on it, but I think it comes from the medical background. If it's a lump that's been there and it's been stable, then it's probably just part of the rat, in my thought. What we did find during the crack rat experiment was that sugar, whether it's natural or processed, will increase tumors and cysts in rodents.
Okay.
So like our mice, that's why we swapped them off. Mice are genetically engineered. That's not really the word, but physiologically they are meant to be plant-based protein and fat eaters. Whereas Norwegian rats, NASFs, are meant to be animal-based protein and fat eaters. So when you're feeding, like we feed, if we get a good deal on crap chicken that we can boil down or roast down with no seasonings, then they can have that in the bones for the rats. The mice aren't getting that. They're going to get some sweet potatoes and they might get a little corn. We don't give corn to the rats because it's high in sugar. We were able to cut out a good portion of tumors in our stock from that. Just from keeping,
Gotcha.
like, we don't feed white potatoes. We'll feed sweet potatoes. And even then in limits, I stay away. If we feed like a beet product or a root product, we feed carrots or occasionally a beet instead of the or yucca instead of like a turnip, which is very high in sugar. That's kind of where we found that is, but found that out. That was not good language. Sorry. The head's trying tonight. Okay. But we also, if we see something, if it's got hair on it and it seems to look stable and it doesn't, you can't wiggle it around, it doesn't feel like it's going to pop, there's no red angries, and it's not humongous, then we might go with it. But if it's got any question about it, we go back to the quality in, quality out.
Well, and especially like the females will get those milk tumors or whatever.
Sure.
That's not something we're concerned about. If it's something that looks, like she said, if it's something that looks really nasty or it looks very obviously cancerous and it's like something that has grown very quickly, yeah, we're not going to feed that. We're just going to let that one live out its life and see how it does. But
yeah, the other thing is rodents carry so many bacteria and disease anyway that lay dormant, like leptospirosis and stuff. That just lays there dormant. So it would take just the right swing of, and trust me, I almost lost a finger, just the right wrong day, wrong entry point, wrong turn for something to go wrong. So we just,
Yeah.
Well, and that goes back to the original thing I was getting at, like yours, or you got them from somewhere, because the big thing for a while is all these Chinese rats and stuff being imported, and like, are they eating heavy metals? Are they getting it in the water? Is it something causing that's systemic in the rat, like from their feed? You know what I mean? And if you know the source, that's easier to eliminate. Like our own, I don't mind as much.
We identified the source of the ones that we were having the problems with, so we avoid them in the future now. Now we're a lot more selective over where we're getting our rats from. And John, you and I have had that conversation. We're just kind of picky where we're getting them from because we've had some bad times with the rats, and we're trying to rebuild with healthy stock and healthy colonies, and kind of get back on a good foot here. God knows we need to get to the point where we're supporting our own collection, because that's a lot of expense that
it is. Yes, it is. And talking about a guy with a huge feeding bill. No, I'm kidding, because you're raising your own, Dan. But thoughts on that? I mean, you've seen them too, I'm sure, in your rats, right? So.
Well, I only breed the ASFs. So the rats that I buy every week, I've never seen on. The supplier I get them from, I've never had an issue. But again, I think it comes to when they're turned more towards adult size. The biggest rats I ever buy are smalls, even for my biggest females. Nothing bigger than a small. I just don't want to take the chance of them getting bit. So I don't buy anything bigger than a small. As far as the ASFs, I've seen a few, and that's only when I forget to call the colony after about. I usually like to pull the colony about 5 or 6 months in. They're not usually producing that well at that point anyway. And if I sometimes forget to do that, I'll see a few with the ASFs that get tumors. But if you get to like the 7-8 month mark of breeding, and I'll just take those and euthanize them. But as far as Norwegians, I've never seen any come in with tumors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've had good luck and a good supplier, obviously.
Yeah, I have a good supplier for the last few years.
Yeah, and that's,
Awesome.
I think, the general consensus. I think I'm expecting a little more like controversy in some of these questions, but we're like all on the
Right.
same page. I think we all
Right.
hang out too much and talk too much, right? But let's take a
Do you-
little break from all of this. You guys want to see a commercial? Go pee,
Yeah,
do your
I-
thing. Let
I
the
know I
audience
do.
do the same. All right, let's hit the commercials, guys. Thank you, everybody, so far. This has been awesome. I do want to hear Ashley just ream somebody out after this on the next question. So hopefully we get to that point where we get some fists and some teeth and nails and all of that stuff going on. But we'll be right back, guys, because we appreciate these sponsors and we give them a chance to have a minute or two up there.
Hey folks, here at The Forge we prioritize promoting people from the community, especially where we see opportunity to share some valuable insights or products with our followers. That is why we are thrilled to have BNS Reptilia as a sponsor. Chris is a fantastic example of bringing value to the community, with years of experience keeping a variety of animals from ball pythons and blood pythons to boas or colubrids and more. Chris brings a wide breadth of knowledge and a collection of beautiful animals. Chris also carries Coco2go and The Chipper, two of the highest quality reptile bedding products on the market. If you want to learn more about any of these species, are looking to add to your collection, or in need of some top-notch substrate, please don't hesitate to reach out to Chris at BNS Reptilia. Chris is also a member of a growing community of breeders who accept Forge Coin, so don't forget to show them your Forge Coin.
Listen, everybody says they support disabled veterans, until it's time to actually do something. Last year, through Operation Deeds Not Words, the Fat Man Nation with Green Line Morphs raised $7,200 for disabled veterans and first responders through Camp Freedom. And it proved something important. When this community actually pulls together, we can make a real difference. So this year we're doing it again with Operation Deeds Not Words 2. And our goal this year is $10,000. Same mission, same attitude, just bigger. Camp Freedom provides outdoor adventures like hunting and fishing and just time back in nature for disabled veterans and first responders. Getting them out of clinical settings and getting them back to what really matters in life again. If you want to help us reach that $10,000 goal this year, then head on over to thefatmannation.com and pick yourself up an Operation Deeds Not Words t-shirt or a beanie. Because talking about helping people is easy. Actually doing something about it is what this campaign is all about.
Perfect. And we had John right out of the gate tonight saying the same. Deeds Not Words, guys. They definitely have put all of their best feet forward and put it out there for us to be able to do these things day in and day out and never really ask for anything back. It's time we just automatically give something back. So thank you, Ashley, for the link there. Perfect.
Did you see the comment, a couple comments I put above that?
No, let's take a look. What do we... And get that off the screen. We're working at it. Man, she's just going to chip away until we don't have a choice here. But
Yeah.
and that's totally fine. We appreciate that. But yeah, good conversation so far, guys. Nothing super controversial, though. I was kind of hoping that we'd get some stuff we'd flip and flop on the fence on. I feel like we've gone through Vance, we've gone through Ashley, we've gone through Dan. So I don't know. These two really look suspect right here. These two already tells you who it's going to be. I feel like they're going to crack the can open and actually get some lava flowing out of this. There's going to be some heated discussion on this topic. What did you guys bring tonight?
I want to know how many of you are varying your diet and how you're varying your diet for your animals. And how do you ensure that that diet is working well for them? And I guess that's aimed more for the people who are keeping multiple species.
Okay.
Because reasons.
Right. Okay, great question. So, do you want to pick on anybody? Maybe that'll start some more fights. If you guys pick who goes first, I want this to get a little feisty in here.
Let's see. Well, I'm gonna start with you, John, because I mean you've got an MBK. Are you varying the diet there?
Okay, all right, that's a perfect place to start. So, Jamie, what do we do to vary our diet?
Oh, stop.
But I mean, you can speak to this quite a bit with the leopard geckos, with the MBK, which we have not varied, by the way, yet. Greg, she's still growing and she's still getting the weekly ASF and rat. So, but Jamie can speak to this a little bit on the gecko side as far as what she's doing there.
Well, as far as the geckos, they're pretty easy. I feed the adults 2 or 3 times a week. Babies up to 6 months old get fed every single day. Once they hit about 25 grams, they get every other day.
But what are
And
you
then
feeding them, Jimmy?
I have my
But she
own
does
mealworm.
switch that out.
Yep,
Yeah.
my own mealworm farm. So they mainly get mealworms, but I do go to the pet store twice a month and I buy enough crickets just to feed off. I don't like keeping them in the house because
Oh, come on! You don't want to smell
they're
that smell?
stinky. Nope, yeah,
They do
they're really,
stink.
they're stinky.
Stinky little
So
bastards, huh?
yeah,
They are.
Pe-
They're
People
terrible.
who've never kept crickets, I don't think even that that doesn't come into their mind. But then when
Ugh,
you get even just a
they're
tiny
gross.
little thing of them, yeah, they just reek.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
it's terrible.
So they get crickets twice a month, and I buy sometimes superworms or hornworms or silkworms randomly too, just as a treat for them. But that's what they get.
So
Yeah, mix in the dubias,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
all
once
of
in a
the
while.
different supplements too.
I've got
right?
a
Like,
friend that does dubias. She has her own, so once in a while I'll get some from her, and I hate them too. They gross me out. So just enough to feed off right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, but I mean the variety there is really
Yeah.
kind of taken up in
Yeah.
a lot of the supplements too. Like those
And-
things are a huge mix of.
Yeah.
What do you do
They-
there? Like a 3-part mix?
Yeah. There's a bunch of different powders and calcium, and I don't even know what it all is. D3, calcium powder, and something else, and I put the honey or the bee powder in there.
Yep, little bee pollen.
Yeah,
Sure.
the bee pollen. Yep. Bunch of stuff, and they all eat really good. But once in a while, they will go on a feeding strike. I've got an adult male right now. He won't eat. He hasn't eaten for me probably 3 weeks now, and I have to cut the head just like you would for a baby. You cut the head of a mealworm off and just kind of rub it on their lips and let them taste it, and then he'll eat 1, maybe 2, and then he won't eat again for a few days. So
Right.
know.
Takes that realization. Oh, this is
Yeah.
actually food in front of
Yeah.
me, and they finally wake up and
Yeah.
chomp it down. Yeah. They're a little goofy on that side, but yeah, Greg, to your point, like the MBK is really. I want to say, if I had to guess grams, we haven't put her on a scale, but I want to say she's probably 600 grams, maybe 650.
probably.
Just guessing by her size. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's getting good size, but still, I mean, he's obviously growing and shedding like often. She sheds a lot more than the ball pythons do. I
It's
think
so
because of that
funny.
growth.
It's so funny when she sheds because it like weaves throughout her whole terrarium.
Yeah, she just leaves that everywhere. It's like somebody toilet papered the house, kind of.
Wait,
Like, you know.
wait till she learns to do it in her burrow and leaves it all through the ground and the dirt and everything. in there.
She does, yeah. Like half of it's underground through the tunnel. Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, she's still on the rat thing all the time, and I do want to hear some other answers on this because I've considered this even for the ball pythons as much as we just keep them on a rat diet. So, Vance, do you vary it at all for your snakes?
Okay, so this is for the snakes, not the rats, right?
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Man, to be honest with you, not really. Because we can't have ASF, so that kind of throws that out of the water. So we just pretty much, I got the Norwegian Reds is what I breed. I was for a little bit, I was trying to, for people that did feed them mice, like I don't feed mice, I don't even like messing with them. For a bit, I was giving them a mouse in the very beginning when I would breed, and then give, like if I was going to sell that, I would do the rats first, and then I would throw a mouse after, the third, fourth, fifth feeding, just to know that it kind of was able to do that for the person. But I probably pretty much even shine away from that, where they're just going to be getting Norwegian rats. But yeah, that's pretty much all I do, is just strictly the rats. I just try to basically make sure that my rat's getting the best diet as much as possible, and keep it nice and healthy, and give that to the snake. But yeah.
Do you feed once a week or
Oh,
every other week?
yeah, thank you. Actually, I was going to say, if I do miss something, let me know. So that all depends. For the babies, I'll be going every 5 days for like a hatchling newborn. But say like with my adults, I'll do them, basically the adults eat every 10 days. So 3 times a month.
Gotcha. Okay.
That works out pretty well for me. When I feed my snakes, they get a pretty healthy rat. I don't they'll get at least the width of their body, or even bigger. Usually I try to go somewhere between 10 to 30% bigger than what the width of the snake. Usually 10-15% is where I like to be at. That works pretty well. So every 10 days they put on weight really good. They're not they're still eating every 10 days. They're putting on weight. They're very healthy. So that works out well for me. I know some people like to do the more smaller rats, do smaller feedings and give them multiple. I know a few that have said that they put on weight very well, and that's worked out for them. But I mean, even with me giving them like really big, prey feed, once they still put on weight very well. It's not like, oh, well, that's too much, I'm not hungry, or, they're still, or like there's too much, because there comes a point in time where your body, even as a human, doesn't matter if you're human or animal, you can consume so much protein or whatever, but it really just kind of goes to waste after that, right? I mean, if anything,
right.
you could put on
it all
fat,
goes right here, Vance.
Exactly. It just there's really nothing else. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it works out pretty well for me at doing it that way.
100%. John, you got multiple species there. Do you mix in other food?
For the most part, no. I mean, the hog will sometimes, if they'll refuse 2 weeks in a row, she'll try to send them, or she'll try a different thing, or maybe put in a piece of boiled egg or something to get them back going. But not counting the hatchlings, of course, everything else pretty much eats once a week, except for the Carpandro and the 2 boas.
Okay.
And we just let them grow at their own rate. If they refuse, the first ones that will be offered a second are the breeding females, or the ones that have laid and need to, get back up to normal. They're the only ones they're the ones we start with.
Yeah.
And then we got a couple males that are about 2,000 grams or so, and they'll take whatever.
Okay. And that's, I think, the root of the question is like, do you mix in quail? Do you mix in a gerbil? Do you mix in, some other source other than staying right on the rats? Pretty much
it's all the mice, the rat of the different sizes, and then ASFs.
Okay. Gotcha. I think that's kind of standard for the most part. A lot of people like to vary that. Dan, you're raising your own. You're buying a few. Do you mix anything else in there?
For the ball pythons, I give them Norwegians and African softers, and I supplement quail sometimes, a little button quail. I'll do that with my ball pythons, just for the adults. And for the hogs, we do frozen thawed. And then, the bearded gets salad and crickets a couple times a week. Tortoise gets salad. The boa constrictor will take anything. I mean, I can throw a piece of pizza in there and he'll eat it.
That's funny.
But yeah, for mostly for the balls, it's going to be Norwegians and ASFs, and occasionally I'll supplement some quail.
How do they
Okay.
do with the quail, Dan?
What was that?
How do they do with the quail? They take those readily, or is there
Yeah,
a struggle?
most of them that I give it to take it. There's a couple that don't like it for some reason, but man, you just put them in there and they seem to blast it right away.
Okay.
Okay. Do you notice anything in their follow up on that? Like, do they get runny? Do they get an issue with passing it too quick? Any change in like the digestion? Because I've heard that multiple times. Like
I heard
you
the
give
same
that quail
thing.
and it cleans them out, kind of. You know.
No, I heard the same thing, but I haven't had any issues with like crazy feces all over the place or anything. No, it's been pretty much the same, and I haven't had any issue like the next week or a couple days later giving them a rat. They take it just like they always do, even after I give them a quail.
Okay. Gotcha. And I don't think anyone raises quail, unless I'm wrong. Anybody on the panel raise the quail? Any of the birds?
I wish, man, that would be cool.
Right?
No, I have a friend that does it. I get it from him.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha. All right.
Ryan does
Ashley.
Add one thing whenever you're done.
Oh, you want to add something?
When you're
Go
done.
ahead, John. No. Go ahead.
The other thing is we mainly keep them on the rats because that's what most people have access to. When what we're selling, that's what the buyers are pretty much going to be limited to, depending on what part of the country they're in.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, on the market side of it. Yeah, it's a great point. It's like make sure that they're on that and they're on that solid and doing well. So
Now, that's another reason why 90% of our stuff eats just rats.
yeah, absolutely. And don't need a reason, John. Even if you just want to feed them rats, sir, you give them rats. All right. But anyway, Ashley's going to tell me otherwise. She's going to go, you shut up, John.
If I ever get to a point where I'm mad and you're yelling at somebody, you have to have done something really wrong. It takes a lot to get me pissed off.
No. I just like to tease you about
I
being
love that
feisty
about
because you laugh. Yeah.
So, just so everybody knows. But I definitely feed a variety. Actually went down and was listing everything I have so I didn't miss anything. So my retics, I would say those guys are, they don't get too much variety. So my one dwarf retic, I'm giving them a large rat pretty much once a month for his size right now. And then and I'll for the retics, I will pre-kill those rats because they will definitely bite them, and it's just and then for my super dwarf retic, he gets a large, small, and I'll do him normally twice a month, depending on how he's looking. For the ball pythons, so for the hatchlings, I go between mice, ASF, and rats, and that's just because I don't know what people are gonna have available to them. I generally will start them out on an ASF hopper or mouse hopper, just to get them going, and then after a few meals, I'll introduce a rat pop, and then I'll start introducing frozen thawed to the pet type homes that I think these will go to. But I'm always keeping it a variety. I never want it just to be one thing. I don't want them to get stuck on ASF or mice or any of that. So no matter what, I'm always trying to keep it switching up. The boas, my imperators, they're on rats. Because the one girl, she's on a large, and my one male, he's on a medium right now, and he's a couple. Those two are a couple times a month. And my red tail girl can get a rabbit sometimes. If I do a rabbit with her, then she'll eat once a month. Otherwise, I'll do jumbo XL rats for her. And let's see, hog noses. The hog noses, I'll go between the ASF, and I also do mice with them. I've done eggs. I put frogs in there before. I switch it up with them as well. And then the geckos. So the geckos, there's the Pangea, the crested geckos, and the lychee. I'll do 2 crickets for them once a week. And I do calcium powder with D3 for all the reptiles that need it twice a week, and then the other days they're generally getting just a regular calcium powder without the D3. And then for the leopard geckos, there's the silkworms, I'll give them much. I also do the black soldier fly larva. That's awesome for them. And hornworms and all that stuff's great for them. Everything that Jamie was saying, I pretty much do the same. The dubia don't bother me so much. I can just pick them up with my hand and whatever.
Oh,
Only because one time I had to separate like thousands of them by hand, males and females. That's how I got over it.
yeah.
The bearded dragons, they're doing the lettuce and they get hornworms once a week, and the silkworms and all the normal things. Same thing with the D3 powder or the calcium powder with and without D3. Tarantulas, they generally are getting crickets. Sometimes they'll do the mealworms, sometimes superworms, depending on their size, and dubia roaches. And I will say for my bearded dragons, once they're coming out of their brumation, I will offer them like a pinky mouse, just because they generally don't eat too much when they're going through that brumation with them. And the blue-tongued skink, he is a garbage disposal and will eat anything.
Right. I've always heard that, right? So have you thought about opening a Whole Foods
Right.
with all your species? Because you
Opening my own
basically, right?
My own
You got
zoo.
dubias, you got roaches, you got lettuce, you got fruit,
Yes.
you got everything under the sun. So
Yes.
it
I
kind of
will
gets
take
that
the
way.
smell of crickets over the hornworms any day. The hornworm smell is, that's bad.
The
Yeah.
hornworms get humongous.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They really do. But their
Holy.
smell is awful. It's
Yeah.
awful.
I have
I'm
a
curious.
question. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Jay.
I'm curious about the silkworm thing, since both you guys said that for the geckos. What do they gain? Is that something that we just do because somebody said this is what you should do?
Active calcium. Like they can eat
Oh.
as many as they want as a time. You don't have to dust them with any type of calcium powder. You could feed them 20, 30 at a time. It doesn't matter for your bearded dragon and your like leopard geckos. It's just really good. Same with the black soldier fly larva. A lot of calcium in that. So no dusting of anything. Like I'll just get a cup. I just put the larva right in there, and even if the larva does turn into flies, they'll still eat those, and they're really really nutritious.
I have not
Okay.
tried that. I should try it. Now I've
Yeah.
heard a couple different people say that their geckos love them.
Oh yeah, they're awesome. And bearded
I have a-
dragons love them. But yeah,
Do you breed your leopard geckos?
no,
Okay.
no.
I was
Um,
gonna ask. I've heard a couple people say they'll give them a little pinky, like while
They
they're
can. I think it just
breeding.
depends on your weight of your animal, honestly.
Okay.
Like if my beardies are coming out of brumation and their weight is looking totally fine, I'm not offering them pinky because it's just too much fat for them.
Right.
But like my female this time coming out, she's lost a little bit more weight, so yeah,
Yeah.
she got a pinky today.
Okay.
Just to help with a little bit of fat, but
Okay.
and not the leopard geckos.
I
But not
haven't
that
tried
one.
it. Yeah. Okay.
So, and I've had my leopard geckos. One I actually bought from a reputable breeder, but the other two, like one was a rescue. Someone had it in their garage with no heat or anything, and it was really cold, no light or just nothing. So like, I just took the time to like feed her properly and make sure she's getting the nutrition. She put on weight
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah.
So I think it just always comes down to the animal and what their need is.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Well-
I did not realize. I guess you had so many animals. That's cool.
She does.
I have
She's got a
dogs and
ton.
cats and fish. The fish I could do without because I just don't want to take care of the aquarium, but
Yeah.
I like looking at them.
So we're back to the Rippin' Crew. You asked the question. You wanted some different feedback and stuff. You guys do a lot of different species too. What is your thought on your own question? What do you think you want to filter out of that?
So we're keeping what, 8 species currently?
Something like that.
I think we're 8 species,
8 or 9, yeah.
6 continents.
Yeah, we're up there now. Plus, I've got the psycho lizard back here who does not eat like she's supposed to.
I don't think
Yeah.
I'm gonna visit. You got psycho lizards and crack rats. I'm like,
No,
I'm
no,
staying
no, I
away
got
from
rid of
this
the
place.
No, Aurora is a gargoyle gecko that was a rescue, and she came with all of the I was owned by tiny little children who paid a lot of attention to me and then grew up features. So she, the people tell you I've never seen my gecko eat. My gecko doesn't eat unless I feed her. Like I put her at the bowl and stand there and she will guzzle it down. And as soon as we walk away, she walks away.
Gotcha.
She needs crickets, but if you've ever seen a lizard throw up, but don't give her a worm or a roach, she'll live with the roach forever, and you'll find it and scare the living out of yourself when you're cleaning one day, because it's now what was a dime is now the size of a freaking silver dollar.
Yeah.
And as far as the worms of any type, she will throw them up at you, even though they say lizards can't throw up. She figured it out. So I've tried variety with her, unless it's mango or fresh, some kind of tropical something, or her mash or crickets. You're mm-mm. So, but we have, when Crikey was sick, he's the big carpet that we have, the one we use as an ambassador. We tried quail with him. And the only thing we could get him to eat for the last year and a half have been live mice. We did finally get him to take a frozen thawed mouse about 2 months ago. And then last month we can't breed ASFs in Virginia. They're illegal. Anything rodent family from Africa is illegal in the state of Virginia. But we can get frozen thawed. So we get frozen thawed ASFs from Tyler at Tyler's Toxic Balls.
Fuzzy Acre Farms.
Yeah,
Shameless
Fuzzy
plug.
Acres. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And
Yep,
he
yep.
did actually eat one of those. But he
Okay.
only eats every 3 to 6 weeks. We only feed him when he acts hungry. Because, I mean, he's, what, 7? 6, 7?
Yeah.
He's an older boy, so.
And he's a big boy too. He doesn't need to put any more weight. I mean, he's at a healthy weight. Let's try to keep him there. Just maintain
Sure.
him there.
Yeah. We, I tend to rotate, now that I can get the ASFs, I've been rotating those through, especially the bigger females.
Yeah.
Because they can get a little bit more protein without having to eat such a big meal. And this will probably lead to your next discussion, because that was my question as far as feeding. I know somebody said something about power feeding. We tend to feed on the slimmer side, so being able to have the frozen thawed ASFs and rotating in mice keeps me from having the meltdown over fatty liver, which
Yes,
will
absolutely.
significantly shorten your animal's life. You may be able to get them to breed 10, 12 eggs at 2 years old, but you're going to kill them 10 years earlier. So
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
we do not power feed. We do feed actually probably closer to the slimmer side of what some people would prefer. And yes, I would prefer that some of them grow a little faster, but they don't, and I'll deal with that. But they're not starved and they're healthy, and I'll know that they'll probably live longer than they would if they gave me babies at 2 years old. You know?
Yeah. And a great point, and I assumed that was going to be one of the main questions tonight, is like feeding regimen and pushing an animal too quick or not feeding enough to maintain.
It was, John.
Yeah, well,
It was
You
going
sir-
I
to
think somebody stole mine,
sir-
so I got yours. Okay.
right? So you, sir, are up. I assume that's your question, Jason. But
Well, it was, but I'm going to change it. So I'm going to just make it more specific, because it literally was about metabolism and the fatty
You
liver and all
diva.
that. But what we're going to do is, I'm just looking at my 8-page question I had here. We're going to narrow it down to breeding time. So, and I guess it's more geared towards ball pythons, but it can apply to anything. So with the breeding season, or not even a season, but once you started pairing up animals, are you changing diet or supplementing at all for females during that period? And what are you doing for males that, want to go on the I'm breeding and I'm not eating hunger strike deal?
okay. All right. Well, I don't think Dan's gone first. So Dan, who has tremendous success through the breeding season, and you've always seemed to be producing just fine, you probably can answer this perfectly. What do you got for us, Dan?
As far as the males, I feed them a little bit smaller than I do the females. Probably more like a crawler size. I never feed my males heavy, but I make sure. And I find during breeding season, especially when I'm breeding, that if I feed them a way smaller meal, they tend to stay on food better while they're breeding. For females, the biggest, like I said earlier, I only feed up to a small size regular Norwegian, and I've had females up to 5,300 grams with not an issue. But I never go bigger than a small, just for the risk factor of them getting bit by the rat and hurting them. As far as I feed once a week. if they don't take it. Some of the females will get an extra if there's like a leftover from one that didn't eat. But for the most part, just a small for the females, and like a hopper to a like a crawler size for the males. I never give them a big meal. They tend to do better, I think, when I feed a smaller meal. And when the males that I am breeding, I definitely cut it back to like a just a little bit bigger than a hopper. They seem to do better during breeding season.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you attribute the smaller meal for the males to? Like, do you think that's they don't want a full belly because they're anticipating they need to be busy, or what do you think the plus is? I guess I don't know how to word that, but why do you think that works so well?
When I first started, I was giving them the same size as the females the first year or so, and I noticed that sometimes the males wouldn't eat. And I didn't know for sure that it was because of a bigger meal. So I cut it back to a smaller size meal, and I've had much better success with the males eating and not going off food during breeding.
Okay. So it's just trial and error that kind of led you to that. And do you have any theory as to why that is? Do you think they want to stay slim and trim so they can chase the skirts around, or what? What do you think the cause of that is? I mean, I feel like that's part of it. Like if they get too bulky, they feel like they're just in that
lazy
mode, right? Yeah, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be that. I just think for some reason, I don't know, I don't have any real theory behind it. But I think that when they are breeding, that they don't always want to eat anyway. So if you offer them a tinier meal, they at least get some food in their belly and they have some protein in there, and to help them, go from one to the next girl. Especially if you're breeding a male to 3, 4, 5 females.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Okay. Well, good input there. Vance, you gotta have something to say on this?
Yeah, I don't really go too heavy on my males. I mean, like I've kind of had the same thing where my male, he was just more interested in breeding. So my main thing is as long as, because I'm putting him again, 3, 4, 5 females, so I'm trying to keep him fed to where he could continue, but I'm not too worried about shoving a bunch of food down him. Now, like with my females, that's a little different where I try to go heavier on them. I don't have an ultrasound machine, so I can't sit here and tell where they're at or whatnot. But even if I believe that they are they've ovulated, they've got eggs, I'm going to sit there and continue to feed them pretty decent. But at that time, I'll start backing off, where I'll go to much smaller males at that point. Usually, like a small rat would be fine enough. But the males, I really don't try to push too much through them. Just as long as I'm keeping them fed, every couple breedings at least. I mean, 2 or 3, that's plenty of fine for me. Make sure they got water, and as always, but just make sure that they at least got water, and hopefully they could take a meal down whenever they can. I had one that he wouldn't. I tried feeding him. I had to wait like another 7 days after that and tried feeding him again, and he eventually ate. So I was like, hey, you know what? As long as he's eating, he'll do it when he wants, right? I'm not. It's not like I'm putting him to 7, 8 females or nothing to even worry about, overworking him. So yeah, that's my input on it.
Yeah, gotcha. John, what are your thoughts, man? You're deep in thought, I can tell.
I'll just wait. I mean, it's like I said earlier. I mean, everything gets fed. The adults all get fed once a week. The females that are going up to laying or have laid, they get offered a second meal from the ones that do not eat, because that happens every time. And then if we still have leftovers, the ones that are kind of like that borderline, we would like to breed them that year, season, whatever, then they're the ones that get it offered to them. Now, on the male side, I may have to try Dan's trick, because we just had the pied het ultra male that's going to an ultra male het pied. He went off for, and a black pastel clown. They both went off meals for 16 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
On that third week, if they don't take that third offering and they're being bred or breeding, They're out of the plan until they've eaten 4 meals.
Right.
Then they'll go back in.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about losing money by the misses or not hitting what we're looking for. The female reabsorbing or being pushed behind on that project for a year. That's just how we do it. They stop eating, they stop breeding.
Yep, gotcha. Same, yeah, and we've held that for a long time too. Like if they don't get a meal between those pairings, that next pairing doesn't happen. Like you're gonna eat before you breed again. So I do think that's critical. That's a good point too. We hadn't touched on. So
The boys definitely get picky during breeding season.
Oh,
they
yeah.
definitely do. They definitely do.
Yeah.
We've gone as far as car rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, take them for a ride around the block. Yeah, trying to get them to eat. We've heard that multiple times.
Yeah.
For sure.
I almost had to do that one time. Pull through the last minute.
Right. I'm sure Ashley has some input. She's got some cycle she puts these on.
Yeah, for breeding, I breed all year long because I don't want a bunch of clutches all at once, and I like to vend all year long as well. So generally, they're not breeding; they're getting fed every other week. That is something new this season. I'm trying. I was every week prior, but I decided everybody eats better every other week. Now, when my females are building and they are jumping out of the bin for food, they are getting their meal every week because they're showing me they want it. For the males, they definitely are thinking about one thing only during this time. So yeah, they generally don't want to eat as much. I have a couple males that they don't care, they'll eat and do anything, but the males you can throw a rat in and they'll escape their bin just to go to the females bin. They're like, I don't care. So yeah, I definitely keep an eye on their weights. I make sure, that they're eating, or yes, they do get pulled. I did have one situation where a male stopped eating and I had pulled him out of breeding, and even after pulling from breeding, months have went by and he would not eat. So I ended up trying to assist feed him and I could not get it. So I'm like, all right, I need a man to manhandle this snake. And I'm a pretty strong chick, but I could not get it. So I had to bring it to the pet shop of working, and he did it. He said this was the hardest snake he's ever had to try to do this with. But finally we got the snake to take just a small little, I think it was a weed. It was something really small for him. And then ever since that moment, he has eaten every week since then. He's like, I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah,
but,
I don't want to fight the pet shop guy.
Right, so it's just, and I think that's just another thing too. If you can't do something and you need help, put the ego aside and go figure out what that animal needs.
You brought a whole new meaning to the car ride thing.
Yes. Yeah, and I really just kind of let the animals speak to me because ball pythons generally are not ones to want to overeat. So if they are asking for the food, I'm giving them the food. Obviously if it's not, not every day, but yeah, if they're building, they'll get once a week, they'll get their small or whatever they're getting. And it's been working. Everybody's happy and keep going from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the Rippin' Crew has something to say about when they feed and why. I know they got to have something on this.
Well, I heard you say when we first started, I don't think you guys had us on screen yet, that you had never had an animal go off and stay off, die from not eating. And
we have never had one starve. Yeah.
Yeah, we have one. We got him as a part of a group. It was an albino pied trio that we bought. He was 15, 16 months old and 700 grams when he got here. And the guy said he had already bred him twice.
Wow.
And he got here, ate once, and then didn't eat again until he was almost dead, and we were tube feeding him. We did everything. We separated him from every other, from any other animal in the house. He was the only animal that's ever been in our bedroom. He was apart. We did the rides. We did different prey, live, fresh kill, brained. And it came to, had gotten to the point where he was losing 20, 30 grams every few weeks. We went to the vet. There was nothing wrong with him other than he was starving. And so I'm not that person that will let them die until I have zero other choice. I'm not going to let them suffer, but I'm not going to let them die. So we ended up tube feeding carnivore care and rat tails. And he is, what, 2 years now?
Yeah.
And just regaining the fat in his face that he lost from almost dying.
He finally looks
okay.
good enough this year to breed again.
Yeah, now he eats like a champ. But he just lost all to not do anything.
That's
But
crazy.
in general, most of the carpets get fed weekly, except for the big boy. He eats when he's hungry, which is about every 3 to 6 weeks. And I figure he's a big boy; he can eat when he wants. Our big girls during breeding season, if they're on the breeding scale, get every 5 to 7, depending on what we have available. If it's live, never anything bigger than a small. But we will feed mediums that are live kill or frozen thawed. But I'm not up for the bites. And I'm not up for getting bit while I'm trying to keep them from getting bit by a medium or large rat. But we do have some 3,000 and 4,000 gram girls, ball pythons, that are humongous, and they, can use that bigger meal if we have it. If not, they get 2 smalls. But most things here that's hit adult size gets every 10 to 14 days. But they get a good meal, so then they lay there and they're fat and they're happy and they use their heat. And I do notice that feeding like that, they regulate their temperatures more. Like we see them basking on the rocks or on the heat for a few extra days and then moving around a lot more for those next few, that next week. Our males, we have a process with them where they get fed every 10 to 14 once they hit at least 2 years old, or 1,200 grams ish, depending on their body, how they look. But we have a process with them where they breed, they come out, they get a bath, they get a meal, and they get bedded for at least a week to 2 weeks. And since we started doing that a few years ago, we've not had one miss a meal.
Everybody comes out of the tub, they get a shower and a sandwich.
Yeah.
Night off.
They have their date night, then they have their, it's literally.
Sounds like the military. Sounds like the military over there.
We started to leave the males in longer this year, and it's been working out better for us with locks. Whereas before, we would only leave them in for 2 days, maybe 3 days at the most.
Whenever they unlocked, they were out.
Yeah. Now I'll typically lean toward leaving them in there 4 or 5 days before we pull them. And we've had better luck with that. Sometimes we'll get repeat locks, and I'm not a guy who's going to be putting my males to 7, 8 snakes. Most of my males go to 1, maybe 2 females.
3 if it's a high end, but even then.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
But
So limiting how much of that pairing is a big part of it.
True.
We also tend to not pair them until they're at least 15 millimeter follicles either.
Right.
Yeah.
It's stress to both animals. It's a waste of sperm. It's a waste of extra feeders. So we wait until they're ready and then put them together. And we've had healthier clutches. We've had gentler, I can't word tonight, animals, and they're overall, I think it's working for us. I don't know if it'll work for everybody, but
yeah. Now's your chance, Ashley. Be mean.
I was about to agree with her and be like,
the day I've had,
that was horrible advice.
That's the worst advice I've ever heard.
You take care of your animals. How awful.
Yeah, how horrible. How dare you take your husbandry and your feeding and your healthy, clean enclosure seriously. Jesus.
Right.
So ridiculous.
Dude, we touched on a shit ton of feeding topics. Who did we miss someone? I think everybody. John. All right.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, John. I thought we had hit everybody. John has a question. What do you got, sir?
The question's short, but the reason I'm asking the question is a little explaining.
All right.
There's probably, I'm assuming, no data to back it up. So whatever your opinions are, there's no right or wrong. Whether with the array of feeding between every time they lift their head, they get something to I only feed every 2 weeks for maintenance feeding or whatever. Does anyone think they're doing any harm to the organs of the females in doing that and breeding them? The reason I ask is because there's probably 10,000 plus people breeding them. What percentage of those breeders or hobbyists that are breeding have snakes that are 15 to 20 years old, when it seems like the trend now is you make a pairing with a female once, maybe twice over a 2 to 3 year period, and then you sell it because you made what you needed? Is anybody holding on to an animal long enough to know if there's irreparable harm to them?
And you're saying, John, you're saying harm from stretching out the feeding?
Either feeding too often or not enough.
Okay.
Depending on how you look at that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know what order we've kind of gone in, but I don't think that the Rippin' Crew has gone first. So we're gonna put you guys on the spot.
I like his question because he tickled my science geek brain. So
careful what you're tickling there, John.
Before she takes off, I would like to say one thing. With regard to the females, I don't think that feeding them up prior to a breed is as harmful as it would be on a male. My reason is this: the female fasts for how long?
Yeah.
Once they're gravid, they don't eat. They don't eat for months. And if you let them maternally incubate the eggs, then you've got, another 60 days on top of that they don't eat at all. So not to mention how much of their body mass they're giving to the creation of that clutch and to those eggs. I feel like they are eliminating their fat stores to the point where they're probably cleaning their system out far better than anyone else would. And I think that's why it's also important when you start the female back on food to start with smaller meals and not jump right in with a larger meal.
Exactly. And I was going to add to your point there too, Greg, because I do 100% agree with what you're saying, but I also feel like the physiology in the male and female is miles apart because of that. Because of that cycling, I do think that female physiology is probably set up to take on those big meals and prep for those clutches and eggs, right? It's like probably a little more flexible than the male is going to be.
Well,
that doesn't have that big lag,
That's why their body structure is different. That's why their tails are so much thicker, because they have that larger fat reserve to facilitate that. I'll let her go now. That's all I wanted to add to that.
All right.
No,
do it, TJ. Do it.
I'm going to play off of what John just said, too, because and data is, like I said, it's my geek brain. It tickles things, and I like it. So males in almost every species in the world are made to eat to live. They're not, there are very few male species that have to procreate. That's not what they're made for. It's not what their biology tells them. It tells them to get a piece of butt, but it doesn't tell them that to eat to make no babies. I'm trying.
Greg just looks to the side.
I'm trying to filter myself for y'all's sake. Okay, I'm trying to be nice. Y'all know that it could be ugly. You know what? But females, their entire, from the moment they start hitting puberty, for lack of a better word, their entire existence is around, especially in the animal world, is around keeping their species alive. They are made to make babies. I'm going to kick you. They are made to make babies.
It's a Homer hedge.
Their biology says eat, get fat, give that fat to your babies, and then you can get fat again afterwards. So there is a purpose behind it. Do I think that, without offending people, I know I do it all the time, so whatever, I don't give a shit.
There you go. That's the spirit for the Crucible.
Think that some people's version of here, eat whatever you can so I can get as many eggs out of you as I can and then sell you, I think that's bullshit. But
Agree.
I think that if you take the time, like you said, we got hobby breeders, and I am a hobby breeder. It's where we started. It's what developed every one of us at some point. But then there's the people who just throw snakes in a rack and say, make me babies, without learning a damn thing about them. And then there's people who take the time, learn the species, know that every species isn't the same, can't eat the same, shouldn't be treated the same. So, yeah, I mean, no, there's probably not a ton of data from most people, but there is data out there. And honestly, if you look overseas, a lot of European and Australian schools, colleges, whatever they call them over there, have some studies on that. And that's where I've dug out universities. There you go. I've dug out some information there, more than I find in the US, which is kind of sad, but hopefully they'll get there. Do I think it does them harm? Some people do harm to their animals, yes. Do I think it could go either way? Some people, I hate the word maintenance feed, because maintenance feed in technicality should be keeping your animal a healthy weight, maintaining your adult animal. But what most people refer to as maintenance feed is barely feeding just enough to keep them alive.
Yeah, keep it moving in the rack is it, and I think that's a great point, because that term is thrown around all the time. Maintenance feed is to keep it at a healthy level, in my mind. That's what I initially thought, not barely keep this thing alive and moving, and that's what it's kind of turned into. So,
well,
but John, we do have some animals that are 10, pushing 12 now that, we know they're still healthy. We don't overfeed them. So maybe in a couple years, we can add some data for you.
Right.
Yeah, 100% like that. That's a great answer. Dan, what's your thoughts on that? Oh, sorry, TJ. Didn't mean to cut you off. There was a lag there.
You're good. That was my afterthought.
Well, like she was talking maintenance feeding or just barely feeding. I don't have a lot of data to back it up, but I noticed on certain breeders, they'll breed 2, 3, 4, 500 clutches, and they tend not to feed their babies what I would call appropriately. Because I have a snake that was from a bigger breeder, and he's a terrible eater. He eats maybe every few weeks. I'll offer him every week, but he's just a bad eater. And 2 other people I know had bought snakes from the same breeder, and they just didn't have a good regimen as far as feeding the babies, and they were terrible eaters too. And actually, one of the guys, his snake passed. So I think that a lot of the bigger breeders that don't, I understand why they don't want them to grow too fast, too quickly, because they don't have the racks, the bigger racks, to put them in an adult rack while they're sitting on the snake. So they try to keep them, FB5 or an FB10. But I think that has something to do with how the snake does once it reaches somebody else that purchased it. If you're not feeding it on a somewhat regular basis, not once every month or once every 5 weeks or whatever, a little bit better, especially for a baby, every week or every 10 days, I think that it really is detrimental to them once somebody else picks up that baby. That's just my opinion, of course.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, well, it is sad, I mean, absolutely, it should make you sad. That's the point. So.
Yeah. But and the other thing somebody was asking earlier about if their adult goes off, I found that, I know it's a smaller tub, but I found that taking a male that's not super huge and taking him from the FB40 and putting him in FB10 just for a couple of days, it's tight, and I think they like that tightness anyway, like being in a hide, and then bringing them back to the FB40 and offering them a meal. More times than not, I've gotten that male to go back on food.
Huh.
Yes.
We've had success with that as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yep. All right. Yeah, and I like the fact that you say you don't have the data to back it up, because I think a lot of that is speculation. We don't follow these things, like was mentioned before. You have an animal for 3-4 years and it moves to someone else, and we don't have longevity records, right? So appreciate that part of it too, Dan. Yep. But yeah, what do you think, Vance? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Pushing stuff out of the gate too early, or just holding it back because you don't want to grow it,
Yeah, definitely. There is quite a few people out there as you guys said earlier, the maintenance feeding, that's a big issue. One that I hate, because to us, maintenance feeding is actually feeding that snake as needed, or not as needed, but on that continuous every 10 days or whatever, keeping it fed, right? Where it's still
Keep
growing.
it healthy, right? Healthy
Yeah.
growth, yeah.
Not throwing it a Snickers bar here every 4 to 6 weeks when you feel like it, and being like, oh, I hope, you're still hanging in there. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to keep up. I think that's one thing is you want to keep up on your feedings. You definitely don't want to overdo the snake and give it too much, to where it's going to be obese, but you don't want to just give it that little bit of food neither. I mean, I'm going to keep my snakes fed, whether it's something that I'm keeping or it's something that I'm selling and it's been sitting there for a while. It doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to feed them all at that same time. So yeah, I mean, it definitely, it does count a lot on what you're doing with those snakes.
So yeah, your viewpoint, I think, is what should be across the board, is like, regardless of what this animal's plan is, it's getting the same regimen, and that regimen is health first, right? So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Good point, Vance. I dig that, man. All right, Ashley, you can spread this across multiple species too, and I know Greg and TJ can do the same, but how do you feel about that, or what have you seen out there as far as variety of people, sketching things by, or, overdoing it to make it produce early,
I've seen both ends of the spectrum. As far as going for breeding with the females, I haven't seen any damage. I know a snake in particular that, she's well in her 20s now, but she was in a home or in her younger life where she wasn't getting fed that much, where it was like just to keep moving it around, and they were still breeding her. And then she went to another place where, yeah, she was getting the regular meals, and then they weren't able to feed her for a little bit. And then, so she's gone through this back and forth for quite a bit of her life, but she was still breeding, giving eggs. And I ended up taking her, last year she had eggs for me, and she had 17 eggs for me. She is perfectly healthy.
Wow.
So on that animal alone, I could say all that up and down has no issue on her. She seems to be doing just fine. And I know other snakes from people I know that have had snakes, females that have gone through very similar situations. Those snakes are in their 20s, they're still producing, and they're producing large clutches. So I don't know how much, I guess from what I've seen, it doesn't have that much of an impact. I guess that up and down, if they've gotten too obese or if they've been too skinny at some points. I do think us keeping these animals, we need to do our best to make sure that we are taking care of them properly. And for some reason you don't have the rack space, you cannot afford to feed them, then you need to find someone who can, and not, really put too much on your plate where you're putting yourself and these animals in this situation, because it's not fair to them. And also, in my opinion, is also, if you can't afford to be feeding them, don't be breeding them. I don't think it's fair to the snake, no, but I don't see damage to the animal. So does that make it right? No. I also have the original Hitari girl, who's 20 some odd years old, who, she came from the wild. She throws big clutches. She's nice and healthy. Who knows what she's been through? So yeah, I've seen it. It's been okay. I don't recommend it.
100%. Okay. Who do we have left here? I saw Vance bopped in and out. We're going to add him back in. Did we get you guys? Greg, TJ, did you hit on this topic?
We did. I ran and grabbed these just to kind of make a point, maybe.
Sure.
Or maybe it's just more of my soapbox. So these two, background.
Yep. Yeah, that'll do that for sure.
Okay, so same clutch. Okay, both females. Just short of a year old, maybe just over a year old. Okay. 300 grams. What in the hell, camera? 500 grams. Okay.
Right in front of your face is where you got to hold it.
Yep. Yeah. As close to the center of you as you can is the best.
There we go.
Yeah.
Teeny weeny here. They both eat every 5 days. And then chunky ass here.
Yeah.
So it's not always about your feeding measures either. Now, I'm not trying to give anybody an excuse to underfeed your animals. Please don't do that. But these two are in drawers right next to each other. They've never missed a meal. They didn't have any health issues. Like I said, same sex, same clutch, same birthday. All the eggs in that clutch were in the 70s as far as birth weight. No reason that they shouldn't grow exactly the same. However, very obviously,
They do.
they did. Yeah. I
Again,
mean,
just
Yeah.
know your animals.
yeah.
You have to be
Absolutely.
able to base your determination on what is working. And that's why I had added that portion onto my questions. How do you judge whether it's working or not? Because you have to be able to do that on an animal by animal basis. It can't be done just as a blanket technique, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, a funny point about that is I've had clutches too where
Nasty.
everybody in that clutch ate except for one. One of the babies didn't want to eat and had to be assist fed for 4, 5, 6 times, and turned out in the end, or not even in the end, but I mean 6 months in, that assist fed baby outgrew all the rest of the clutch, and all the rest of them ate every single week. So it is definitely by the snake. Not even so much what you're feeding it. I've also had snakes where you're feeding the same basically aged snake 2 different size meals, and the one eating the smaller meal actually grew more. So it is hard to kind of weigh that all out and make any sense out of it. I think you just kind of have to pay attention, kind of like what everybody's saying. Really, really watch them, look at their body structure, and just feed accordingly.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the whole key, I think, again, that we're touching on. Everybody's kind of saying it, but we're like skipping over it a lot, is that body structure issue, right? Like, to say an animal should be X weight at a year is completely incorrect. You should say, what should this animal look like at a year? And that's where you draw that determination, because exactly like Greg and TJ's example, we've had clutches of 6 animals. We aren't sure what those offspring are. Like a lot of that lace stuff we were bringing up early, we didn't know, is this lace, is it not? Well, we keep it that full year just to see that progression and to watch how different those 6 animals were in the exact same environment for a full year. And we know full well what we're giving them, or the opportunity to eat every week. And they were drastically different. I'm talking from 350 grams up to almost 800 grams span in a single clutch. I mean, they were that different and treated exactly the same. Male, female didn't seem to matter. It was literally individual to that animal. Yeah, she got defecated on, I'm pretty sure.
Somebody had to change their shirt.
But yeah, I mean that.
I have a clutch where I have huge babies, and there's one baby that is just smaller. Eats every week, looks great. I won't take it to an expo or try to sell it just because it just looks tiny compared to the rest. But it's just how that particular snake is. It's just knowing your animal. It's just like knowing yourself. Like how you are is not how everybody else is. Your animals are the same way. Treat it as the individual and what they need.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'll say honestly, I'm usually that way. I don't like taking the tiny ones to the shows just because it's like, well, you can tell they're from the same clutch because of our numbers. So then I feel like I'm being judged by people. I'm like, oh, well, that was starving to death.
Why don't you feed that one?
Yeah, but I can honestly say we went to the AARPE show in the All-American in Fredericksburg last month. And it actually sparked a lot of conversations, both with other breeders and with new buyers and returning pet buyers, that they're like, oh, you wouldn't believe I've got 2 of them now from you, and this one eats and that one eats, but that one's still tiny. It gave us a lot of, and we do tend to talk to our customers a lot. That's why we have so many of us that go, but it gave us a lot of subject matter to talk to people about, to kind of give some basis versus here's your animal, get the hell out, go buy rats.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it's our part to give, when we are selling animals, I think it's our part to educate the person buying the animal, because there's so many of them are new to this hobby, and so many have misinformation. And I will refuse a sale if I know it's not going to go to the appropriate home, because it's just a headache waiting for me later. Yeah, I don't know. I really try to take the time to educate people. I just feel like it's important. And if I'm losing, if somebody's got to walk by because I'm taking too long educating somebody, that's okay. I'd rather take that time to teach somebody.
I mean, we've had a
Absolutely.
few
Yeah.
we've taken and marked them as breeder only. You know, we won't sell them to especially a new pet owner because we know they're not going to do well. We know somebody needs to be experienced to handle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Typically, if we've got one that's been a problem eater for us, we're not going to let that go to a
Right.
new owner, or even an owner who says, "Oh, I've got experience. I've had no,
Oh.
no."
Oh
Right.
man,
It's a
we've
breeder
we've had them like John always says, where you could throw a tennis shoe in there and they would gobble it up, and we ship them off, and then it's 6 months of, oh, this thing hasn't eaten in 2 weeks. Give it one more week. Oh, it ate. We're good to go for a month, and then they're calling again.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't eat for 3 weeks, and you're like, oh my god, it just never ends, man.
I mean, I get
Yeah.
plenty of messages like that, and
Yeah.
the first thing I say is, okay, send me a picture of your tank
Enclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know
Yeah.
what your husbandry is. I want to know your hot spot, your humidity, and that's normally what is off. But I think that's also when it comes to selling is, as us breeders, and if you're watching, like, you also need to be prepared on the backside. You might get a message 2 hours after they bought it. You might get a message 2 years, and it's our responsibility to be there to answer these questions, as long as obviously they're being
100%.
reasonable.
Right.
So make sure you're keeping yourself educated and following along new things, because there's always new education and systems coming out that are better for animals. So you can pass that along to your clients, because that's how you're going to get people to come back to you. I have several people come back to me a lot just because of the education I gave them, and they know they can call me or text me, whatever, and I'll be there to answer their questions
Yeah.
Yep.
and get my table at Tinley, not like
Look at Dustin.
Jason.
Dustin. Jason's talking about Melissa. No, he is not. Trust me.
No, he's not. Yeah.
No, there
Oh,
are
that's
far worse
hilarious.
case scenarios, because here's the thing, right? There's this wide range, and we've gotten this a billion times too. Hey, I have 4 others, right? But then ask a question like, how long have you had 4 others? Like today you have
Got 'em
4
all at the
others? Or, because the things you're asking me, these can't have been there long, or
Right.
they wouldn't be alive, because what you just told me was way outside of
And you get
normal
those that,
expectations, and
you get
yeah.
those that are having problems, and you ask them about their husbandry, right? Oh, my husbandry's perfect. I suspect not. If that were the case, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation. Let's go through the numbers and let's just figure it out together, shall we? And most
Right.
of the time, you're going to find that it's your temps. Your temps they don't have a hot enough hot spot, and if they can't get to their body temperature warm enough to digest that meal, they will not eat.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, another big one too is they'll put a hot spot, but they don't. A lot of people don't know enough, in my opinion, to put the height on it, because if a snake's got to go find it, I mean, can they? Yeah. But if they're going into their hide and they're like, oh, it's nice and warm in here, you've already gained so much right there. Now they know they got their hot spot, plus it's covered and they can hide. They're way more likely to eat, and it's surprising how many people don't do that.
Yeah, they'll
They
put it
really
way
don't.
over on the cold side, and they will pick security over health almost
Yeah.
every time.
That's actually one
Am I
of the
gonna
things they teach. Yeah, and I will have a kit. I'm sold out of kits right now, but I normally have a kit available. Or if I use like my displays because they have heat, and I want to show them exactly how this is supposed to go and where your probe. And even when you tell people, okay, you need a thermostat to control it, they're not thinking of an actual thermostat. So I always try to have pictures, and if I have help or if I have a moment, I will walk them to a table or somebody who has heat tape and has a thermostat, because I want them to get the correct thing, so I take that time. I don't know. It's just that's all important things to do. I want to actually show them. So many people are visual learners, and when you're talking to them, it's just going in one ear out the other. So what they physically see it, I find it works a lot better.
Yep.
100%, 100%.
And even if you don't want to sell kits, just bring something where you can physically just show them what to do. Yeah, I always keep pictures on my phone. I'm like, it's right here. This is what you need to get. This is where you need to go. This is where you can order. Whatever. So.
Yeah, and we've talked about that on our side too. It's like, do you bring a full setup? do you bring a whole setup that's ready to go with everything there, and where you can point at it and go, okay, here's the hide and here's why, here's the heat pad, here's why, here's this coverage here, and you know what I mean?
Probably a good idea.
But that's
So I
it's
don't
a
bring
great
I don't
idea,
bring a
but
whole, like,
how much
aquarium.
work is that? You know?
I don't bring a whole aquarium. I do like the so I'll get like the tubs with the gaskets, and I put my own holes, and then I get the heat tape and everything for it. But that it still allows me to show, but I'm not carrying this whole terrarium around.
Right.
You know, so it's lightweight, something it still gets the point across, because for these hatchlings, these tubs I get for these people work perfectly. It has their hide, and I always explain, okay, yes, your hide needs to go over this hot spot, and here is why. So they just can understand. And then I give a care sheet with the animal they buy that also will have majority of the information on it, so they can go back to reference that. I also really like to encourage different Patreons where I know they're going to get good knowledge, where they're not going to just go to Facebook and get a whole bunch of wrong information, or Google or whatever, you know. So I'm always just trying to spread the awareness and the correct education where they should be getting it from.
So when we're at a show, I will physically walk with them to someone. You know, most of the shows that we have, there's going to be someone there who's either selling or who makes enclosures. I'm going to take them to that person. I'm going to let them talk to that person, establish a relationship there. I'm going to take the time to show them what they need to get started, and to explain to that person what animal they have. And believe it or not, that's worked out well to both our benefit, as well as some of those who are building enclosures at the show, because they get the sale for that. They send the people to us for animals, and it's just it's a symbiotic environment where we're all working together. B&S Chris is usually close to us. Several times I send people straight to him to get substrate from him, go around the corner for this, and around the corner for that.
Yeah.
And just by taking the 3 to 5 minutes that it takes to walk someone in a show to another vendor, explain to them what they have, what's going on. I mean, you can't buy that kind of service. That's what brings people back to you every time.
That's customer service. That is very important. Like, whether it's snakes or going into Walmart or wherever, right? Like, you need to have great customer service. That's what will bring that in. If we see rude people, we're going to go away from that and go to another route, right? Somebody that's going to willing to be not on their cell phone and all, worried about news or whatever. I want some eye contact and talking. Like, that's what, and I think that's very important. Even when I did customer service work at stores, I would sit there and really, show that support. Like, hey, what do you need? Is there something I can help you out with? Hey, sir, what are you looking for? I mean, that's really important. So,
well, they're buying that experience, that you're giving them, because you could have a nice snake, but if you're a real asshole, like, they're going to go to somebody else. So they are buying that experience from you. Yeah. So the best experience you can give them, yes, you are more likely to get a sale.
But wait, Ashley, what snake does this asshole have? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Nice has that those genetics, and the asshole has the genetics. You're going to go to the nice person that's giving you a better experience. Yeah. Now, if the asshole's the only person that has it, you'll just say, fuck it, here's the money. Sorry, I'm swearing. And
no, have at it. That's what the Crucible is for. And we fell so short of that. This is all about swearing. And
I'm trying to, be appropriate. But you'll get the money, you'll get the snake you want, but you're not going to be like, I want to go back to that person again. You want, those pet people aren't really looking for those crazy genetics anyway. They're looking for a pet. So they want the nice experience, a person, that's not sitting on their phone, that's having a conversation with them and just interacting. I hardly can ever stay behind my table. I'm always up front talking. I have games for people to play, all sorts of things. I'm always trying to change it up. So,
and honestly, if you're that breeder who goes to a show and you just get the sale on that animal and you hand somebody a snake in a bag and say, "Here's your snake. Good luck." Fuck you. Seriously, I do that.
Right.
Because that guy comes to my table, and then I spend a half an hour with him explaining to him what he needs and what where he needs to go, set him up with what he needs, to keep that to have a positive relationship with that animal, have a positive experience. Because if you send that person out of there And that snake
fine.
2 weeks down the road dies because you gave them bullshit information or didn't take the time to give them information at all. You're not helping us. You're not helping the community. You're not helping the hobby. And you're just a dickhead. Go do something else.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. But Greg, on that counterpoint, I will say that in our limited time vending, the 3 or 4 shows that we've done, we kind of like do that. We'll be that outreach to be like, hey, are you familiar with? And they just shut you down. And then, so what is your thoughts there? Where you're like trying to give that input, and they're like, yeah, and cruise.
We just
If
step
it's
back.
my animal, if it's my animal that you're talking about buying, the sale stops there and move on. See you later. If
Right,
it's
but I
someone
mean, this
else's
thing's
animal
in
that
the
you have,
bag, you know, and it's going, and
I'll go if I know that breeder. Like if it's say someone gets one from BNS Chris or something, I'll go down to Chris. Hey man, that guy you sold this to, if you got to follow up on him, you might want to give him a call and get him set straight because here's what's going on with that. But yeah, and it's true. You get both types, and you get people who you can spend 35 minutes, 40 minutes talking to them and tell them
and
everything
it's
they
just
need to
going
know.
straight through.
Yeah, yeah. So
falling
here's
out the other
trick.
ear. Yeah.
Always follow up with a card. Always give them a card. Always give them your number, so that when they get home and they forget everything you told them, they'll give you a call. You'll have the opportunity again to set them straight. And if you didn't sell them that first animal, I promise you'll sell them that second.
100%. And I even think if people are coming up to and they're like, oh, we're not sure about, crested gecko or this, corn snake or milk. I will educate them about those animals, and 95% of the time, people did not explain things about those animals. Like, if the crested gecko is going to be your kid's first one, crested geckos are great. But do you know if your kid goes and grabs it, the whole skin can just slap right off? Do you know that? Do you know that the tail can do that? Do you know that these snakes musk and stuff like that? They almost never know. And they're like, thank you so much for sharing this information, because it helps me think about it, and do you know what they're eating and stuff like that? I don't know why so many breeders don't give the information that these people need.
Right. So here's one that I'm going to just flop right on the spot, and he's going to hate me for this. But John, you do a ton of vending. How do you maneuver that, where you get the people that don't know anything but don't want to hear it? At the same time, those people that do want to know everything, but you have 8 people at the table. What's your process? Because you do a pile of vending.
Well, if it's people that definitely don't need to be getting one, we let them know, hey, here, Bridget gives them a pamphlet, and we'll kind of pass it off. She'll talk with them for a minute and say, hey, here's the information. You need to go get a setup. We kind of like push it off and let them know that they need to go get a setup, get it acclimated, all that set up at the house and ready to go before the animal's introduced in there. So then they have a period of time to read through all the data, do their research, and then see if they even really want to do it or not, instead of that animal being purchased and dying.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we just try to catch everybody we can. We'll politely say, just you mind giving us just a second, whatever. And then the other ones, we'll ask them to come back, or we'll say, hey, here's our card. On the back is our Instagram, Facebook. You can just scan the QR code, and we'll tell them, whether you buy something from us or not, I really don't care. If you have a problem or an issue or a question, reach out.
Exactly. Yeah. Regardless of where you got that thing, because guess what? If anything in that sea that raises all ships sinks, we all kind of sink. Whether we'd like to believe that or not, whether they got it from the guy 3 tables down from you or not, if that transaction, that experience fails, we all lose in that situation.
Yep.
Well,
it's not individual to him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, a couple things. Shit, I forgot the first one. But anyway, like the ones that we can, you read through this and go do that, and go, like Greg was saying, go see this vendor over here that makes the enclosures and see what you need. Only about 5% of the time they'll even come back and buy an animal, because they had the money for the animal. They didn't realize what the cost was of all the stuff they needed for it.
Right.
Yeah.
By the time
But you saved everybody a pile of follow
Yeah,
up because
I'm
of
okay
that,
with that.
you know.
I really am. Yeah.
it's
Yep.
not to tell them, politely tell them, fuck off, you don't need nothing. It's you need to know what you're getting into.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, and the other thing was if there was 8 people there, I mean, reality is you're not going to be able to talk with every one of them because as 5 walk off, 3 more come up. So you just do the best you can.
Yeah.
If they want an animal you have bad enough, they'll wait for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Especially if
normally
it's
have
someone
like my
taking care
kids
of a
with
customer.
me. Good.
Yeah, because
like-
they know that you're going to give them that same attention that other customer is getting. And if they don't put any kind of value to that, then they need to move on anyway. I'm sorry. It's just
And
how I feel about
Right.
it.
And a point to that is every single show we have done, which I think is 5 Dallases now, and a few locals. Every single show we've gone to, we've either had someone that bought a snake from us, get another one, refer a friend, or they did not get it at the show. They did go get what they needed, and then now they're contacting us to see if, hey, do you have this still? No, but I have this one. It's the same thing, same genes, same everything. Send me a pic, and they end up buying it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Way
And we've
better.
had tons of buyers. We've had quite a few at the shows that come, their kids ready for their first snake, and then the parents get there and they're like, holy shit, we didn't realize, the lights, the enclosures, the everything. And we'll say, all right, well, if they really want one, because I can't stand breaking the baby's heart, but if they really want that one, put a deposit on it. We'll hold it. You can talk to Greg for a week. He'll help you get everything you need. We've got links saved for stuff on Amazon or wherever. When you get it set up, then we'll meet you or we'll ship to you. That makes them comfortable because not only then do they know they have the animal that kid picked out from, that very first I'm in love animal, but also because they know they've got support now, not only until they get the animal, but you're already invested. So we've had people come back and buy. We've had people, we had at the AARP show, we had 3 people come back and buy their second animal from us from September because we stood there and we talked to them and we've talked to them since. So the customer support is the thing with a lot of them, I think.
Yeah, and then as they're walking away, one little tidbit you can throw out there, whether they bought one or not, or well, especially if they bought one, just if you decide you want to get more and do all, you'll repeat this whole process. But just want you to know, remind me which one you bought, because returning customers always get a discount.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. Yep.
So we put everybody that buys from us in our Square Bank. So if you buy an animal, even if it's a $25 classic, you go in our, the purchase or information is filled out with a minimum, a name, a town, an address, and a phone number.
No, I get that, but I mean, you so many tire kickers out there. You're not going to look up every.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this, but you're not going to sit there and look up every single person inquiring. So I just tell them, hey, remind me. You did purchase from us. This is the one you got.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
Be their job.
Yeah.
100%.
I do find if you get a lot of people coming around your booth, I will get a group of people and I will talk to all of them. If I just started talking to somebody, like, all right, come in and join in on the conversation. I generally have a kid with me, or I do have one person helping me, Becky, and I'll have them start a conversation, or my kid will just start like, oh, hey, just so it can give me a little bit of time so I can have my little talk with these people, let them look, and then I'll start a conversation with the next people. And yeah, most of the time they will come back, or if I do have games at the table, hey, go play some games for a minute, I'll be with you in just a moment. But yeah, or don't just, listen into what I'm already saying, and then think about other questions you have. So you just got to take a step back and I always make sure to acknowledge people that stop by. Even if I'm talking, I'll just say, excuse me, hey, thanks for stopping by. I'll be with you as soon as I can. I do think people appreciate that versus me just ignoring them and, just focusing on those people.
Ma'am, I'll take that. I'll steal that tactic from you. It just won't be games. I have a cooler of beer and say, hey, go hang out for a second.
You know what? At expos, at these local, the kids are the ones bringing the parents mostly to the table. So I have candy, I have games, I have everything that kids love that want to come to my table, and it draws them in, draws the parents. It works pretty well.
Yeah, but I'm with John. I mean, the parents got the purse.
They
So
got
6
money.
years in, they're not going to care what they're buying, man. Just keep their flowing.
Right. Yeah.
But when
Just
their
keep
kids are
the-
like, please, Mom, yeah, please, they're like, okay, yeah, we'll get into
Keep
that.
those Dos Equis coming.
And if
Keep
you
the
get
Dos
a little
Equis.
drunk, too, okay, but
Right?
Right.
Bring a little party ball of Heineken, me.
like these last 2 shows I just funded, I did not have any of my games because I wanted to see how people would react to it. And everybody's like, where's the games? Where's the games? So, next show I'm going to have a different game out. And what their prizes are, a dollar amount off of their purchase. So they all love to play it. And if I have candy out and the kids are just, they're just looking, I'll still make them play the game for a piece of candy or whatever, just to keep something fun. So.
Yeah, for sure. And just a heads up, that last comment is the latest affiliate. Kiko, down at Flora Esoterica. Awesome to have him in the group. Plants does his own, if you want to call it, mini expo every week at his brewery. And you can go there, get plants, get animals,
That's what I'm
take your
talking
dog
about,
through,
man.
have a beer.
Reptile
John-
show at a brewery is badass.
Yeah,
Right.
John at Mission would never
Beast,
move.
beer, and brews.
Yeah, he would never leave. But
We're still
happy
together,
to have him.
Kiko. We're trying to figure out a weekend to get up there, man.
Absolutely.
When I come steal Jay's cat, I'm like, I just want to pet it.
You can have it.
Right.
If John wouldn't have sent me this obviously
You're
dirty
gonna pet the
shirt,
kitty?
Well, guys, I can't thank you
Cats.
all enough. We have gone way over our expectations on time, but I'm having a blast. I really don't want to cut it off, but I do want to give out our $10 that we give out every week, and we're going to do it, guys, tonight. I'm going to actually, let me switch scenes. I'm going to do the giveaway scene. It's not trivia. I think we're all here. Did I lose anyone? I think, no, we're all here.
We're all here.
Yeah, my battery died, so I had to plug in.
I wondered where you went.
Oh, I
Dan.
figured, Dan. I just kind of went right through it. Figured you'd be right back.
Yep.
But here's the rules, guys. Hashtag feeding. And we're just going to spin the wheel. There's no trivia. There's no games about it. If you stuck around through all of this, hashtag trivia in the chat. We'll give you a few minutes to do that. And I will start this up. But I'm going to hide it at the same time. So from this point on, you hashtag feeding, you're going to get your shot at the $10. Might as well give that away for everybody. Sorry to jump in there, guys. We're just really, well, we're almost going on 3 hours in this thing. So fantastic conversation. Love all of the input. I don't have a way to adjust this scene to make it not so skinny and wide, but we're just going to go with it. So
It looks nice.
yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
We just got to get a better group of people next time, John, that are willing to talk and
Argue.
Right? I know. Fight.
All
We
the
need a
awkward
brawl.
silence has been weird.
Need a mud pit out there.
Ashley's really hammering the mofo get Tinley tables.
yeah, I keep seeing it popping up.
I've seen that at least 6 different times.
I know,
but
me
I dig
too.
it.
That's so funny.
I don't think you do
Oh, it's
because
too
you
funny.
haven't gotten your tables yet.
We see it.
Oh.
We see it for sure.
Don't worry, I'll ask you tomorrow, like midday.
Right? That's funny.
So I'm gonna check something to see, because okay, here comes in all of the hashtag. It does work. I'm seeing them.
It's working.
Yeah. So we'll leave that up so you guys can see if you actually got entered. Kind of a cool feature. Don't see this a lot. I'm right built in. I've been working on this, guys. This is bullshit. I'll have you know, to do a whole new show,
Well,
put in
and
all
next
these
week-
features,
And next week is
Cutting into our
another
game time.
brand new show.
right? Dude, it's
Cut-
cutting into
cutting
it.
into
It's
it.
cutting into our battlefield time. My KD ratio's dropping as I'm building these games. But no, it's an awesome conversation. But I guess while this is going on, we might as well hit everybody. Is there anything you guys want to shout out about yourselves, about something coming up for you specifically? It's kind of to highlight affiliates. The whole point of the Crucible is to have just affiliates on here, but let's just kind of go with top down and start with John. John, what do you got coming up? What's on the horizon? What should people look out for you?
The end of the month, we'll be up in Indy for the ARS 2-day show on the 25th and 6th. This year's just chasing a lot of tri-stripe projects. And then some quad head stuff. But a lot of it I need to test for that stuff from last year, like that lace clutch and the G-stripe clown clutch.
Yeah.
But other than that, buyer snakes are almost out of OnlyFans account.
You better stick with the snake, sir.
Well, probably about the same amount of money.
Right. Oh, okay. Now, Ashley, I'm sure there's OnlyFans coming up here too. Probably a common theme tonight.
I'm such a pro at OnlyFans. Yeah, so next weekend I'll be vending. Projects wise, I'm Ultramel Clown puzzle, and then I've got some other puzzle projects, and I've got my DG Hypo Krypton G-stripe stuff that I'm working on as well, hoping to hit tri-stripe as well this year. I have surgery on my ankle coming up the 24th, so I don't know exactly how long it will be till I'm vending. I'm sure I won't let it be too long after that. I know I'll be at Tinley in June. Still will. Morph will be at Tinley in June. I really appreciate you, Dustin, for also putting that hashtag for Morph to get to Tinley. That is awesome. Thank you. Anybody else want to put that? Go for it. The end.
All right. Greg, TJ, what do you got coming up? You guys got any announcements? I got a cat.
We're back at Fredericksburg for the All-American in September, which is doubling in size this time and is already full. They're already back waitlisted within 2 weeks of opening up, is what I heard the other day. So that's a great show if anybody's close enough to come and visit. Let's see.
I'm going to try to grab some of the local shows in the later part of the summer, early fall. Probably try Richmond.
Might try Richmond in August. Or is that September?
July,
yeah. Something. There's a ton of shows around us. We've just found the hard way that some of them are just not. You lose too much money.
Yeah.
Now that we can ship again, at least on our terms, we can ship again. We'll have Morph Market updated here soon, and Husbandry Pro's storefront will go with that, so everybody will be up to par and up to date. And yes, Chris, I will post pictures of the snake room now that we have finished putting it back together.
Got requests. You guys got requests in the chat.
I want to shout out. Oh God, my elbow is fucked up. I don't want to do it. I want to shout out these badass hoodies that we got. This is the most comfortable hoodie I've got right now.
I like this thing. Badass. A little girl peed on
I like this thing, man. You gotta go get some.
It's like a fishing hoodie. Nice lightweight.
It looks nice.
Lightweight. Don't sweat to death in it.
I think I need that style.
Nice.
Yeah, they're
Appreciate
great.
That.
We have hips. They actually, it goes down over your hips, unlike some sweatshirts.
I definitely have those. Yeah.
Yeah, I have those too. Yeah.
All right, Vance, you're up, man. Anything for news for Vance?
I don't know if we got something super soon, but have some clutches hopefully here in the next few months. Have some scrambler hopefully and some hypo-pied clown ultramills. Got a new product I'm working on, so stay tuned for that in the next couple months. Hopefully I'll be dropping that. So been working
Longer
on
vape. Longer vape.
Yeah.
Longer vape.
You know it. So yeah, hopefully here in a few months you guys should be seeing something. So yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Nice. Go check out Blue Zombie Morphs. Got 2 shows too, Vance. Don't forget to tell people. Got your
Absolutely. I was just thinking that too. And we do have the Gene Wars this Friday. That's every Friday at 6 o'clock Pacific or 9 Eastern. And then we got the Thunderdome on Saturday, which is 2 p.m. Pacific or 5 Eastern. So make sure you guys come out. We got some pretty cool stuff planned for that. So, and that all is on YouTube on Blue Zombie Morph. So you got me and whoever on the Thunderdome Saturdays, and then you got me and Will, my co-host, on Fridays. So
beautiful, beautiful. Big Dan, what's coming on the horizon for Dan? What do we got to look out for?
I've got some DG Clown projects I'm working on. I have some Dreamsicle stuff, of course. That's probably my most popular one that I do. DG puzzle stuff. I just had a clutch hatch today of OD pastel puzzle at DG. What else? Oh, some hurricane stuff. And as far as attending a show, I got in August. I'm going to be at Daytona. I don't know if anybody else is going to be at Daytona.
Gonna try.
And that's about it.
All right. But Dan at Vision Quest, go check him out. DG Puzzle, you're not going to find a lot more to pick from than Dan's got. So definitely do that. Let's spin this shit up. Who is in this thing? Who is ready to win some coin? It's not a ton. I apologize for not being a ton. But it's every week. We're giving away little bits that add up to a ton.
Right.
So here we go, guys. Hopefully you typed in your hashtag feeding, and whoever the heck this is, congrats ahead of time. Holy cow, is that a long spinner? But we're going to just let it go anyway. It's
Mitzi.
Mitzi. Mitzi.
Congrats.
Big heart out to Mitzi.
Congrats, Mitzi.
Nice job, Mitzi.
Congratulations.
The biggest supporter.
Yeah.
Right? I was going to say, it's like hard to imagine like a more worthy landing spot because she's in all of these lives. She's in every channel I go in. She's already in there. She's already doing all the emojis. She's already saying that.
Emoji queen.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
I love it.
But guys, thank you so much for being on the first Crucible. There's going to be a Crucible once a month. We're always going to throw the topic out. You guys also, on the panel tonight, you have full access to like what you want to throw around as a topic too. So we have the channels, we have the Discords, we have the Instagram. Throw your ideas. Hey, next Crucible, let's talk about this. Right?
When you should get tables at bigger events.
All right, and we gotta go. But no. Yeah. Really appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all the audience. It was a really long debut show tonight, but I think it went really well, and it went well because of all of the faces around the Forge tonight and all the affiliates that are part of this. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us. This was fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was a fun time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
And
it.
look out for the propaganda and leaflets. They're going to be dropping in all the chats. So, all right. Thanks again, guys. Everybody else.
Me and Chris are tied for the lead.
What's that?
Me and Chris Eaton are tied for the lead.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you're still tied for
Yeah.
the trivia lead. That's still a thing, and that's going to be held throughout the year. So somebody's coming back for that. I think Ashley might be vying for that title
Heck
shortly.
yeah.
'Cause she's got big news on her disappointment of the Tinley Expo.
I told you I'm going to fill out your paperwork for you.
Right. All right, guys. Enough of the Midwest let go of everyone. We're going to let you guys get out of here. You guys want to hang out for a bit, we'll be backstage too after. If you don't, that's fine. But we'll let everyone else get out of here. 2 days left, Thursday, Friday, and then we got a weekend, guys. Look out for the Gene Wars Friday night. You also got Thunderdome Saturday. I don't know. Greg and TJ, they've dropped off the map on these lives. They're not going to be on anything that I know of coming up. Ashley, she's going to be everywhere. She's just going to, if there's an opening, she's popping in. John, he's probably going to be drinking
John's everywhere.
Dos Equis or, whatever off to the side. Oh, there you go. Modelo. Dan, he'll be fishing. So everybody else, have a fantastic week, and we will see you next week. Appreciate every one of you 100%. So thank you guys again.
Yep. Good night.